Hey, what's going on, Pinball Land? What's up, Bill?
Not too much, man. It's Monday, Memorial Day.
We'll go through this again, but we're going to be streaming Oktoberfest for the final time on the Flip N Out Pinball stream here.
Dun, dun, dun. I feel like we should be playing Chariots of Fire while we do this stream at some point.
Probably not a bad idea, actually. I will say this.
Or you will say that.
Or I will say that. It's this or that. It's just how it goes. All right, so let's see what's going on. We got the mics live. We're going to be starting this stream off here in a second.
The final frontier.
What's the final countdown?
Hey, dude, there you go. Scorpions.
Yeah.
Scorpions, right?
Yeah, right?
Dude, chat's probably not open, so no one's...
Yeah, no, chat's open.
Oh, okay.
The final countdown.
Who's
the
saying
final countdown. That was that wasn't the Scorpions. Who was that?
It says Europe.
Hey, Europe, whatever it takes.
Europe, whatever.
Whatever it takes, bro. Whatever it takes.
I just want to make sure that's the right version.
Yeah, no, it always helps to have the right version, right?
Yeah. We'll skip our Lexus ads. They're not paying us. And we don't drive a Lexus.
Doesn't pay us?
And we are not driving a Lexus.
We're not driving a Lexus.
We're not Normal Visani.
Yeah, Normal's driving the Lexus.
Normal drives a Lexus.
He does drive. He does.
Dude, he makes some big pesos, man.
He does make the big pesos. Oh. I can't help but to think about the commercial now with the final countdown. Just one of those things.
Well, we're gonna end this right quick because I don't want to be listening to this song. So,
well, 7 o'clock. We go live here in a couple minutes.
All right, I think we need to end that.
Yeah, how are those audio levels?
That's our final.
Oh, snap!
That's our final countdown right there.
I gotta dial in the Oktoberfest audio levels too.
Uh-oh.
So hold on, let's see where those are gonna be at tonight.
Whoa,
dude! I'll say this: American Pinball doesn't mess around with audio levels. Like you go one up, and it's like a million decibels. It's pretty impressive.
When she's pissed.
Oh,
yeah. Level 1, a little bit of patience. Level 2, no patience. Level 3.
I know a couple people that are like that with drinks.
Yeah.
One drink, 2 drink, 3 drinks.
Yeah, dude, you can literally time it.
You absolutely can time it. So let's go ahead. Let's wait another 30 seconds. See if we can get people in. We'll go ahead. We'll open up this Flip N Out Pinball stream, which I think is going to be the last time we see Oktoberfest from Flip N Out Pinball.
It's the final countdown.
We got a little surprise that'll be happening next week as far as a game, and then we'll have a grand game reveal that'll be coming up. That I think we're still waiting on Zach for the approval on that, huh?
Yeah.
Good times.
Absolutely, man. We are only streaming 2 though. As our good friend Steve Beatty wanted to go check out Croatia, so he is in said country checking out Croatia, posting pictures. So
why is Steve in Croatia?
Because he said, man, he wanted to go check it out with some friends.
That's just the weirdest thing.
Hey, man, I think it'd be great to go check out.
Say, hey, I want to. What'd you say earlier? Let's go check out Baghdad.
Go check out Baghdad.
Right.
You know?
Haven't been there in a while or ever.
Hey,
let's go check it out.
You know, I mean, I'm sure there's probably something fun there.
All right, you ready to kick this off?
Let's rock and roll.
Ready to kick this shit?
Kick it. Like.
Hey, what's going on, Pinball Land? And we are live, broadcasting from the Special When Lit Pinball Podcast Studios for the Flip N Out Pinball channel. My name is Ken Cromwell.
I am Bill Webb. How we doing, everybody?
He's Bill Webb. So tonight, what we're gonna do is we're gonna rock it out here. This is the last time potentially you'll see Oktoberfest on this stream, and we'll have a kind of a transitional game that will debut on this channel next week, right? And then we're going to go into something brand new. The one thing that Zach's always wanted to do with this Flip N Out Pinball channel is he wants to make sure that you guys are seeing the newest games, the newest content. We're discussing the newest games, playing the newest games, discussing the newest games, and discussing the newest content.
Yep. Yeah. So it's been a good hurrah with this game. Looking forward to it. Doesn't mean we'll never have another one in the studio. It just means that we got other things we wanted to play and bring
No,
content to.
there might be a permanent one in this studio that happens because
this is news to me, guys.
well, I'll say this, right? I mean, we've been playing this Oktoberfest for a couple weeks now, and it hasn't disappointed. I mean, we have fun playing it. We have fun when our friends play it, so I can see it.
Lack of not enjoying it that we're getting rid of it. We just we have other games that we have to stream on. So, you know,
Lord Helmet. Schmitty's in the chat here. What's going on, guys?
Schmitty, what up, man?
So Schmitty's following, which is awesome. Lord Helmet says he missed last week, but what has been your favorite shots and your favorite modes on Oktoberfest? Because we're going to fire Oktoberfest here in a second.
In a minute or two.
Give a couple minutes to get everybody in the chat, and then let's absolutely do this. With Zach's permission, let's take a couple minutes. Let's talk about Oktoberfest, our impressions.
Yep.
Again, might be the last time that we actually stream this game. And then
and we do have to say
we'll go into
it. Lord Helmet, by the way, we're not taking attendance, so it's okay that you missed last week. So
that is true.
Yeah.
Now we did give out the Oktoberfest last week.
You pulled the Spicoli and
no, you're good. You're
whatever.
good.
It's fine.
You're good. So all right. So let's go back to the question.
General impressions.
What's been your favorite shots and your favorite modes on Oktoberfest?
Honestly, I really like the bumper cars.
You like the bumper cars?
I do, man. I love the bumper
the
cars.
cool
man.
thing
They're a
with
great addition on it.
the bumper cars are the pop bumpers in the game. And if you like a dressed up pop bumper, you're not going to be disappointed with Oktoberfest because you've got these kind of 3D sculpted bumper cars that have like a glitter glaze over them, so they are absolutely flashy. They look look really, really good on the game.
As far as mode, sorry to detract, but I just that's one thing about the game that I do love. I do love the beer chugging mode, where you have to hit X amount of shots to beat the girl that you're in a drinking competition with. I think that's cool.
Right. You can get closer to that mic too, man.
The dog sliding wiener one was pretty cool. Honestly,
now that's my favorite move.
Well, I didn't mean to steal it.
Donruth, tart those pops up. Absolutely, no, that's good. So, like, one of my favorite call-outs in the game is the wiener dog that can't go down the damn slide, and that's in that mode, right? So it's like, oh, look at the poor wiener dog. He's too scared to go down the slide. Yeah, I love that.
When that mode pops
Never
up,
rescued the damn dog from going down the slide.
Never.
Never.
But literally every time that mode comes up and we're playing, do we all stop just so we can watch the dog and hear the lady?
I just want to hear the call out, and I'm timing my mode out because I want to hear the call out.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Right.
What's better than that, dude? You don't care about seeing the mode to completion. You just want to see listen to something you've already heard. I mean, that's kind of great, great audio on that deal.
I'll say this. I'm going to go above the play field here for a second, and so what you're going to see is my finger in real time pointing to like 2 or 3 shots that I think are pretty interesting. So bear with me here as I transition over. No, you're good, man.
No, that's all right.
One of the most fulfilling shots in the game is going up the corkscrew ramp. And to get this ramp to be lit to go down, you have to light all of the October stand-up targets. And when you can do that and to be able to lock balls in the corkscrew, super, super fun. Secondly, there's a 180 ramp right here. This pinball ramp, boom, comes up and fires right back to the flipper. And you can go ahead and you can nail that ramp for the magnabs, which are sweet because the most fulfilling shot in the game is being able to complete this orbit up here. And if you can't, occasionally in real time, as it completes the orbit, you can hit that flipper to get it to go into the keg lock. I just started a game on accident. Let me turn this down for a second. The game is eagerly wanting to be played. But to be able to hit the magnab, which is the lower right flipper button, and park it on this flipper, and to be able to hit that shot is super fulfilling. So those are my 3 favorite shots. Before I forget, I'll hit the player 2, and let's go back to this for a second.
And I do love the different variations of the skill shots, which make it, you have this one, which is not incredibly easy, but it's an easier one to make. So people that are inexperienced can actually make that. Or your experienced players can try and go for the tougher ones and get the big points. So I think
agree.
that was real innovative too. That I really like, and I like how the dude's head spins differently than the lock there on the bottom.
I think the major concern with me on the game was the difficulty of the upper right flipper and being able to hit the yellow ramp into the barrel or the keg lock. And I confidently say is after having some games under your belt, you know how to use that mag nab, you know how to line up that flipper. It's not as difficult as I had imagined it. And that makes a world of difference in the game for me because that's such a fulfilling shot. You want to be able to do that consistently and not do it on accident. Now, that being said, full disclosure tonight, want to wish everybody a, hey, what's up? Dave Falgren's in chat. I want to wish everybody happy Memorial Day.
Yeah.
We want to extend a great wishes and thankfulness for all of our servicemen and women and their families. And for the United States,
yeah,
it's a big day.
I know both my parents served, so
I have grandparents that have served also, so we both have military in our families and in our blood.
I do want to jump back though on one thing here.
Yeah,
so
jump up on that mic there.
All right, so this yellow ramp, and correct me if you don't feel this way, but I'm going to speak for you.
Mm-hmm.
This yellow ramp, dude, is like very similar to Baywatch, except it's on the opposite side.
Well, who coded who designed Baywatch?
Well, Joe Balser did.
And who designed Oktoberfest?
Well, yeah, but if you can kind of picture that, it's very similar to the other side of Baywatch, and that shot's kind of a real pain to hit. So that having the magnetic ball lock here really just changes the scope of everything.
That upper right flipper kind of reminds me of the shark shot, right?
Yeah.
Like going across the play field from east to west on Baywatch. This being different, like you're hitting a ramp, but it's very fulfilling. So without further ado, let's turn up the audio here on Oktoberfest. Let's start a 2-player game. I've been having some beverages all day long, so I'm not going to be at the top of my game, which doesn't make a difference because I have not been at the top of my game
So Ken is
for a long time.
in the best spirits.
What's up, STTM?
The most organic way of playing Oktoberfest when you've had a couple of drinks.
Right. So in its pure essence of potentially consuming alcohol, I'll be playing the game under some consummation of alcohol tonight. So,
Absolutely.
And I think that maybe Coronas or Malort or
Yeah, I'll do a Corona.
All right.
At some point.
So let's do this. Let's turn up the audio a little bit. We're going to keep an eye on chat for the next couple hours. Let's have some fun. Happy Memorial Day, everybody, and let's get a little Oktoberfest.
Thank you for joining
final
us, everybody.
stream of Oktoberfest, huh? Let's go. And here we go. Bad Boy Bill's gonna go fast. Oh, hey, Joe Fox, what's up, man?
Wow.
Joe, we miss you, buddy.
Joe,
What's going on, man? We need you back at. Are you going to Expo?
Joe,
Pinball
how was
Expo?
Dude, I love the vacation pictures, man.
Everybody's on vacation except us.
Yeah,
We're dedicated. We're streaming pinball.
We are here on a
That's what
Monday
we do.
night streaming pinball.
That's what we do.
We are dedicated.
So Bill's choosing a Stein right now, and each one of these Steins are also assigned as like a power up for a certain mode, which gives you like exponentially better scoring to that mode. And when you select your Stein, and then you're actually to start a mode which is going into a tent mode, it automatically selects the tent in which you have Steins already assigned. So it takes a lot of the guesswork out on which modes will be the most advantageous for you. Nicely done there, Bill.
Thank you.
That was pretty impressive. Oh, ball saves. Want to thank everybody coming in the chat. This has been the place to be on Monday nights. Flip N Out Pinball stream. We have like podcasters, listeners, a lot of people in chat. We're just talking pinball. I'm Ken. He is Bill. We are from the Special When Lit Pinball Podcast. We just got done podcasting tonight, and we roll our podcast live into this stream. So we appreciate everybody that's viewing. I'm going to go up here after several drinks today and see if I can make sense of Oktoberfest. So if you don't mind, Bill, if you can monitor a little bit of chat,
Please,
I'm going to try to hit some Oktoberfest.
I don't think I'm nearly as talented as Ken as monitoring the chat, but we're going to try. All right, let's see what we got going on here.
See, now rest that ball on that flipper because now I can take advantage of the higher scoring skill shot here. Oh, I timed that out, so never mind. Never mind. Juggling. If you want to get into a multi-ball right away, go with the juggling. It's the first mode that's available to you on the tents. We're in a 2-ball multi-ball. I'm going to flip carelessly here until I see the ball save off, and then I will attempt to do what I like to refer to as unnecessary cradling because you know how that goes. That is not looking good.
I don't think there's any negative indentations with the Steins. It's just what you preference. So I don't think it's like Pirates that way. Schmitty, yeah, dude, we are better at pinball and not playing and more or less doing things to pinball. So we're going to try and keep it entertaining, though. And Zach is back on.
We're going to do our best to keep you informed and entertained throughout the way here.
I think we would do more entertaining than informing, but, you know, we can try for both. No, okay. So, Joe, thank you much, man. It was actually a 50-50 night last night. And
explain the 50-50s.
So 50-50 is a drink that I prefer. It's 50% rum, 50% Pepsi, right? And the problem was I actually had a few of those last night for the first time in a couple of months. Since my wife's really been pregnant, in all honesty. Yeah, today was a little rough. And I couldn't sleep last night, so instead of going to sleep, what I did was I went downstairs and worked on Demo Man and got that pretty much all buttoned up. So, yeah, I was up till about 2 or 3. But, yeah, so it is definitely a rough day for me as well, which is why I'm drinking a little bit of Starbucks right now to wake me up.
I did want to say your lanes up there are the TAP. You can't probably see it here, but TAP, by hitting those, that will increase your playfield multiplier. So I believe I did that once. I've got a playfield multiplier of 2. And at this point, if I want to enter a 10th, which is entering the mode, I've got to complete the T, E, and T lights on the in lanes and the out lanes. Now, for those of you that might not know, you can move those lights around by hitting your flipper button. So if the ball's kind of bouncing in this general area, you can go ahead and change those lights so that you can hit an in lane. You don't want to light it on an out lane necessarily. So good times. And again, hey, this is Ken Cromwell. Been drinking all day, so happy Memorial Day.
Yeah, no, dude. All right, Joe, I wake up normally about 4:30. So, yeah, 3 in the morning, being up that late is kind of killer for me the next day because I was still up at about 7:30 today. So,
Magna save right there.
All right, Joe Fox. Dude, reading this comment, I got 5 on it. Who sang that song from the 90s, dude? The song, I got 5 on it. Hey, Dr. John, how we doing?
Hey, is Dr. John here?
He is in chat.
Nicely done. Loving some Dr. John these days. We've got the best correspondents in the podcasting business.
Yes, we do, man. always bringing their A game.
That's right. I activated the Magna saves to hit this ramp. Missed it.
Or as we can coin the phrase, just
a bit outside.
A bit outside.
Missed.
No, man. Okay, all right. So yeah, Zach and Schmitty, dude, those are 2 dudes that are best friends because they don't know sleep. They're like walking zombies, I think.
So again, loving getting the. So how many times did we talk about? Should we stream on Memorial Day or should we not? And I'm so happy that we did because this is working out great, guys. We're pretty pumped up. Again, we rolled right out of our podcast, which went way off topic. We were mentioning we had this whole scripted thing that we were going to do on our special Willie Pinball podcast, and we were hoping to fill about 35 to 40 minutes of news or topic conversation, and what we felt was kind of a light week for news. And we went to about an hour and didn't hit any of our topics, so it was a little bit of an organic podcast, as Bill would like to say.
Oh, a little venting.
A little bit of venting. Like, right now, pinball's perplexing us. We don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but between pricing and approaches to pinball podcasting and who's being offended and who's not being offended, it's a headache for me, man. Like, it was a lot simpler when, like 3 years ago, when none of this was of any of concerns of us. So it's fun time. Let's go ahead and let's update the chat here. We still got Schmitty here. Joe Fox, the man, he's still here. Yeah. Pins rule. Morning over here. Oh, that's Dr. John. That's our guy. So Dr. John, good times. Dr. John, for those of you who don't know that listen to the Special One Late Pinball podcast, Dr. John is our spooky pinball consultant. He's our correspondent, so he reports on spooky pinball on just about a weekly basis. He's very well connected with those guys over there at Spooky. Mac Jedi, what's going on, fellas? Thanks for streaming on Memorial Day. Absolutely. I don't know who else is streaming on Memorial Day. I assume it looks like Buffalo Pinball streaming on Memorial Day. I don't know if Jack Danger's streaming on Memorial Day, but we'll see. So I'm going to jump back out. Little Oktoberfest. How was your ball there, Bill?
It was terrible, but we're just getting warmed up.
That's right.
It's not the first ball. It's always the last ball that ends the game, right?
Well, it's always the last game that ends the stream. So
this is true. Sorry, guys. Just getting caught up on the chat here. Yeah, glad we could do it. Yeah, Joe Fox, you were my man with the Lunas. We'll have to put that in the show at some point tonight, man, because that's a throwback. Obviously, Zach knows the song, too. Good stuff. No, this is a clean game. This is a brand new game.
So getting into that food target, if you hit the spinner and then drop the drop target, you're in like a food type of extra scoring thing. I didn't see what pretzels were supposed to give me, but I'm supposed to concentrate on that particular area for extra scoring. And then if you get enough of the food qualified, you go into a food frenzy, which is like a mini wizard mode. So I kind of want to do a little bit of explaining on the rule set for the first couple minutes tonight. Because when you look at the game, man, it's pretty packed. There's a lot to do. And just like any pinball game or pinball machine, you don't necessarily know what you're supposed to be doing to get into certain modes, and I've been learning that. You've been learning that.
Yeah, this game, and honestly, this game has so many modes. I mean, it's definitely not for
the really does.
Faint at heart. I mean, it's there's got a lot going on to it. You know, I mean, I'm still figuring stuff out on it, in all honesty. You know, but I think the two times that we've streamed this, dude, our average game time was 15 or 20 minutes a game, in all honesty. So,
well, that was a 4-player game. It's like.
Well, yeah.
This is not, I mean, it can be a long shooting game, but it's not necessarily. Slap Save, what's up? Chris Haper's in the house. I would cue the Gloria music for the St. Louis Blues, who have advanced to the Stanley Cup, but I don't have any way to do that right now tonight, so.
But I was showing Ken earlier the Italian version of Gloria from Wolf of Wall Street.
So Pin's rule, he's saying it's funny how Pin Stadium lights look different on stream than in real life because you don't see the stripes so much in real life. And I think he's referring to the stripes that are on the wire forms and whatnot.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. So the way that we have like everything set up here, like Pin Stadium's on full blast. You probably normally wouldn't play with Pin Stadium on full blast in a house environment. You don't need to, but for streaming purposes, we do crank it up, and you do get a little bit of reflection and glare. For some people, it might be a distraction. I mean, we don't mind it at all. And Zach's saying right now in chat, this machine might be going to Chris Haper, formerly of Slap Save and the co-host of This Week in Pinball a week ago. This might be going to St. Louis. Joe Fox, Flipping Out Pinball. Oh, when is it head to Delaware? To let you know, Joe, I think what's going on, I think Chris Haper might be purchasing this actual game that's been in the Special Inlay Pinball Podcast Studios, gently used. So that's good. Can't beat that.
If that's the case, does that mean Chris is coming up here to get it? We got to take him to get some burritos or what?
I don't know.
Yeah, Joe, it is a cool game, man.
Oh, that was not good. It's a different game, man. It there's not anything I can compare it to, but it's a fully featured game as far as like playfield goes. And there's like 14 modes. There's a lot going on.
It is,
If you like fun wire forms, it doesn't get any more fun than this corkscrew wire form in any game that's ever been released in pinball, in my opinion. I mean, that probably shouldn't even work if you look at it.
So, all right. So, Joe Fox, so you got a Jeep? Is that why you're asking that, or what? Yeah, the wire form is awesome on this, man. I do love the corkscrew wire form on this. It's just a crazy fun game, and it's not easy. And with the amount of modes that are in it, man, they're definitely...
These are the Proust Targets, P-R-O-S-T. And when you light the Proust Targets, you hear the crowd go Proust, and that does light your barrel wad. So you want to light those targets to bring it up and out. Give me 1 second. I'm going to use the Special Inlit Pinball Podcast Studio restroom real quick. Because I've been drinking all day, so I'm going to...
It's the official. So I'm going to start a game off. Well, you know what? I'll just wait a minute. No, I'll just watch Chad here. You know what? I don't know how many of these games have been made to date. I mean, they're just still starting... getting these games out the door. I mean, I think they've been firing them out for the last month. So, definitely a cool game, though. Love the wire forms. The modes in it are really cool. Picking the Steins is cool. So, sorry guys, just trying to catch up on chat here.
Ah, okay, no Jeeps, huh, Joe? That's fine. Yeah, so, yeah, we'll see where this goes, man. If this game goes to St. Louis, man, maybe Chris will pick it up and we'll do another stream with it or something. Dave, we were fine with the storms today, man. We got nothing like what you got, man. I saw your Facebook post and I didn't want to like it because
Dave's in
hail?
like the tornado capital of Illinois.
Yeah,
That area over there is pretty crazy.
it holds 2 titles.
You want to start, or you want me to start?
I'm going to start because we're going to keep the same order. Yeah. And I won't knock the computer off of that cord.
Right. No, it's good times.
But you're on the cord.
All right, let's see what's going on. All right, so Zach wants to see 5 modes completed. So let's do this. Let's start concentrating on some modes on this game. I saved my best for last time. So let's maybe escalate that a little bit, because I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to be getting any better as the night go by. As the night go bys. Does that make sense? It doesn't. So with our third stream, it's our third player cam dynamic. You've not seen a player cam ever on the Flip N Out Pinball stream, because we usually have our podcast mic set up at a separate table where we have a guest in. But with everybody on Memorial Day vacation and our buddy Steve Beatty in Croatia, which we still haven't figured out why that's happening. It's myself and Bill, so we got player cam and background Ken cam for Special One Lit. So it's going to be fun. Let's see what happens.
Well, that was terrible. Well, I got one mode, Zach. How about that?
You got a mode?
I mean, I didn't do much with it, but that's okay.
Background cam. All right, let's go. So I'll be attempting to light all the modes and time them all out. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, just hold the flipper. It's fine. Yeah, we'll try Zach on the 5 modes, though.
Well, first mode for me was the ball save, and that's not looking good either. All right.
Yeah, Schmitty's crazy, man. He does not sleep at all. Him or Zach. That should be a competition of who sleeps the least in this.
Here's one mode.
Chat.
Let's do the modes in order.
Yeah, dude, Dave, where you were at, dude, yeah, that was definitely a crazy storm, man. I wouldn't have been leaving either.
So in this mode, I'm trying to hit that left orbit in order to increase the right spinner value. So ideally, if you can, you park the ball on the left flipper, hit that left orbit, and then try to hit that right spinner.
Dude, Zach had the best one-liner on this. Beatty does Croatia. He should have done some special and lit recording with the locals about the pinball scene there.
Yeah. Well, for those that don't know, like, Croatia's got a pretty hit pinball scene. No.
Really? Okay.
No,
yeah, I thought maybe
it
does,
may.
dude.
I have no idea.
And when our correspondence comes back, we can interview him in person about the pinball scene in Croatia.
Real quick, skill shots on this game. It's easy enough to go full throttle and go right into the bar for one skill shot. There's another skill shot where you short plunge into the scoop. You've got another short plunge that hits this target here on the Oktoberfest bank, and then you've got another one which will hit this in lane. So there's 4 skill shots. What I like to do is try to come up here and not hit any switches and kind of hold it in play with my flipper, and then try to take advantage of a little exploit here. And I overdid it a little bit, but hey, you know what?
And Ken got
20,000 points instead of the typical 10 going up to the bar, so I'll take it. Rockin' Express is going to be my second mode of Zach's requested 5 modes. We're going to shoot the lit orbit to increase the spinner value. I thought we were doing that with juggling. Actually, we weren't. I was trying to hit lit shots for juggling.
Nice on the ramp.
So that was a live shot to the barrel lock shot. Now I can go full plunge and nail that skill shot up top. Steins. Let's see what we want to do here with Steins. I do like to hit the spinner. Let's increase the spinner values there a little
See, I like the pop bumper one, man.
I don't
That's
like getting into the pops too much.
Yeah, that'd been cool if Steve could have been there, Dave. Yeah, it was definitely a skill shot. So you're trying to go after those targets on the... Oh. Damn.
So we're good with... so now we're going to start that Keg Multi-Ball. And we'll see how that goes. Notice you got a magnet here. This is pretty cool little sequence of events that's going on. Kind of... you don't see that too many times on a play field.
Dancing multi-ball.
Jackpots. They are lit here. All right, so let's see what we're gonna do here. Try that food tent target.
It is timing out, though.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, there's a counter.
Well, you just made me panic a little bit.
Oh, come on, dude. You're a professional.
So look, is this mode just like an unlimited balls on a timer? Like, do I get another one here or no? No, I don't. Interesting.
All right, so you just timed out on the ball save.
Oh, so it was the ball save that was timed out. All right. Well, hey, getting used to that multi-ball. Let's get back into a, if we want to get a 10. So we've got the T, the E, and the T lit here. We need one more in-lane or out-lane lit to light the tent mode, which gives us another opportunity to get into a mode. So I could do something crazy. I've not tried to do this before, but let the ball drop to the very end of the flipper and come up that in-lane. Have you ever done that?
Dude, by mistake, a handful of times.
I'm gonna attempt it right now. And I may drain. All right, too quick. I'm gonna try that again though. I've not attempted that on this game yet.
All right, so the Bunker Punk, yeah. So their game was down. That kind of sucks. But how was Sunshine? I've never actually been there. I don't think Ken's been there. Oh, you were almost close on that one, Ken.
Close, but no Oktoberfest cigar here.
No Stein full of beer on that one, huh?
No mode there. I'm gonna enter the 10 here. See how that goes. I do prefer to backhand the tent scoop instead of hitting it full on. That being said,
and you can backhand that left loop too, with that left flipper.
I've not been able to backhand the corkscrew ramp yet, though. But I've heard that people have been able to do that. All right, so this is the video mode, which is like Tapper.
Release button to serve customer.
My biggest mistake on this originally was hitting the MagnaSave button and just tapping it and then letting these guys go. You have to hold it down until the beer is actually served. You can't just tap it and let it go. You have to hold it down like you're pouring a beer. So this is kind of a cool little mode. I'm gonna get that. Oh, all right. Well, hey, 24,000 on a video mode in this pin is respectable.
No, you know what? Yeah, we have played the one-handed mode. It's actually a good time. We did it. Actually, we've done it every time. I'm sure we'll do it tonight too, just so you guys can see it. Spend too much time on quarters. No.
Let's see. Let's go up. Let's start a little food mode.
No
here
kidding,
up in
huh?
that,
Lebowski, though, probably had some problems, and that's why it was folded up, though. But I heard Sunshine was definitely the cool place to check out. Virtual hugs. Uh-oh. No, dude, it's still a game, man. I think, yeah, it is a big Lebowski, and I think that's dude, any game's meant to be played, unless you got an Addams Family that's sitting in a box still from '92, dude. They're all meant to be played. Maybe not too crazy, but I know Big Lebowski has had some, issues with stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me if it was broken.
Whole lot of nothing there.
Dude, that's a good score though, man. You're knocking it out.
It's really not a good score. It was a long ball, but unless you know how to capitalize on your scoring on this game, you can be stuck in like a scoring purgatory. Like you really have to know how to attack your modes and how to capitalize on what you're doing.
So I'm gonna try that that idea that Ken had by trying to go for this skill shot, the enter tent one. But if I miss it, then catching it with a flipper. So
the
if it
skill
does,
shots can be lucrative. I mean, you have a 75,000 point skill shot that's on the playfield. Loser Kid, Josh Roop's in the house, and Zonra. So we have both Josh and Scott from Loser Kid
Nice.
podcast in chat. So it's always good to have those guys in. And you know what, guys? Thanks for making mention of the stream on your latest podcast. So for those that haven't checked out Loser Kid Pinball podcast, check it out. And I'll let you get back to monitoring chat.
Just trying to keep Ken warm.
Keep me warm a little bit.
Cold over here.
A little bit warm. All right, let's see what we can do. So, I mean, obviously, let's see what I want to do here. So this is my most lucrative skill shot, and it seems like it's almost the easiest to hit, but it's pretty difficult at 75,000. But let's go for it, right?
dude, I have not hit that one, but I'm definitely curious to see you
yet
attempt
either.
it.
Ah, and that's not going to do it.
Yeah, but you get the ball save out of it.
Auto plunge.
Lord Helmet, the one down on the bottom left. We'll show you here in a second, just if you keep on watching.
What are you looking for, Bill?
The biggest skill shot jackpots down on the bottom left.
Right here, I think at the this side, underneath the O, which is like the mystery question mark thing, is the most lucrative skill shot coming out. And if you look at the trajectory here, it seems like it would be easy, but it's like you really have to dial that in.
Yeah, dude, that's like gravity plus speed times something crazy.
My playfield multipliers are on the top. TAP. So right now, if I wanted to go for multipliers, I could backhand that scoop, hope it gets in there, or backhand the orbit. It came back out, so not the best example of that, but let's see if we can get it back up in there. Magnab here on that upper right flipper.
Would you get the ball stuck? Oh,
No, the spinner's got it stuck, actually.
Okay.
We're going to pause for station identification on the Flip N Out Pinball Network. All right, so hey, you know, as pinball, it happens, right? It's been very low maintenance on this machine as far as figuring out. Oh! So now I've got a coin door open. I've got a lockdown bar that's unlocked semi here. All right, let's see if I can park it. That was weird, right? It's almost like it knew. All right,
We
so
got you,
anyways,
man. We got you. No, he didn't break
Come
it.
in for the save there.
He was testing its durability, as we like to say.
So you are able to hit that scoop area there with the left flipper, which it's a tough shot. I mean, you really have to nail it, but it is accessible. Ideally, you want to hit that area because there's a drop target up there, and you've got that scoop. Ideally, you would want to hit that from the right flipper, and then you can kind of, if you can, kind of do a little tap pass there.
Nice. Zach was saying that I came in for the reach around on the coin door.
No.
Not cool.
Was it the reach around
Not
on the
cool,
coin door?
man.
Hey. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Good.
So I had a lot of people, actually, I can't say a lot of people, but I had a few people literally this week contact me, and they're like, off the record, like, what is your true analysis of Oktoberfest?
Underrated.
And it was interesting that that we got that question, because it makes you think to yourself, it's like, are we just gonna shill every game that shows up on the Flip N Out Pinball podcast or the Flip N Out Pinball stream? And no, we're not. I can legitimately say I have fun playing this game, and just like every game, it does have its shortcomings in which can be worked on, but there's not a perfect game out there. If there was, I would own it permanently. There just isn't. But as far as a fun pin, man, and something that's different, and something that has a packed playfield, and does kind of bring you back to that 80s, 90s Bally Williams type pinball machine, that type of a build. This is pretty close, guys. I think where my concern is on this is that it gets lost a little bit in the shuffle with all these games that are coming out. But right now, it's kind of a lull. Oktoberfest has an opportunity to gain some traction, and then coincidentally, we've got another Oktoberfest that will be happening starting in September, which is not that far away. So I hope the pin does well.
So order yours now for your party, your Oktoberfest parties.
So I have 3 modes lit, right? So Zach wants to see 5 modes, so let's knock that out.
No, I do think Wonka is a damn good game, though. That's up there for me. So you can JK all you want, but that's seriously a wicked game.
Let's go to chugging. Chugging's fun.
NH Polar Bear says you sound like Bruce Nightingale.
Oh, all right. Well, hey.
I'm just kidding.
Do I sound like Bruce Nightingale because of my voice or because of how I'm rating pinball machines?
Sorry, let me catch up here. So a few messages just came in at once.
Fine. I think Bruce Nightingale is part of the tandem of the Slam Tilt Pinball podcast with Ron Hallett, and they are out of beautiful upstate New York as the podcast opens up on what used to be a weekly basis.
Yeah, JJP is definitely a cool game as well, man. That's another one I'd like to get some time on at some point. Yeah, Dialed In's definitely a cool game. Yeah, Lord Helmet's got a Wonka on order. Oh, Ryan TurboGrafx is in.
Hey,
what's going on, Ryan?
Ryan is going to be paying us a visit in Chicago on June 7th.
All right, so just to debunk the myth here,
little field trip.
NH Polar Bear, is it me or Ken that sounds like whoever you said here? Bruce Nightingale, I think. I'd have to scroll, and I'm not going to do that because I'll screw it up. Oh, Ken getting on the leaderboard.
For those of you that are lazy about entering initials, you can go left or right with the flipper buttons, and you can hit the MagnaSave button to go directly down for that initial.
That's cool.
Which is a little bit interesting. So, for me, entering my initials have never been easier on a pinball machine, and that alone makes me want to do what I can here. All right.
Pins rule.
So let's go. Let's go a little 2-player get. Now, do we do one-handed mode here?
Let's wait till after 8 o'clock. We'll jump on the. Oh, we could do it now. Your call.
No. Well, you just started a game, so let's go 2.
All right. Oh yeah. That's right.
So Ryan Kuiper, I'm looking forward to seeing you out here in a couple weeks. Bruce owns Silverball Saloon, cool place. Check it out if you get up there. I absolutely go check that out. Any place that's got pinball and arcade games on tap, so to speak, you got to go check that stuff out. It's all about the resurgence of pinball. Retro's never been hotter. Pins rule. Emily and I will visit you in August if you have a cold beer available for me. Hey, there's always cold beers out here around the Special Inlet Pinball Podcast studio. So if anybody ever wants to make the trek to St. Charles, Illinois, we're about 35 miles west of Chicago. PM us. We will absolutely host you and come on in.
Absolutely.
Do a stream with us. It'd be fun to have some people come in from the outside and do some streams.
Yeah, those are some of the funnest. All right, so I'm going to try a new mode this time. You know what? That's a lie. We're going to go back to the dog one.
So Bunker Punk says, true story, my wife and I were married in October. We went to a Canadian town called Kitchener for their Oktoberfest to celebrate.
All right.
At 1 a.m. It's her favorite voice mode of the game. He's too scared. Save him, Bill.
We're going to try.
Save the poor Wiener dog. Bunker Punk, I'm sorry, ma'am. At 1 a.m., a super drunk 60-year-old lady dressed like a Fraulein asked what we were celebrating, and then she found out that I was just married. She told my wife she was lucky, then grabbed me for a gross old lady trying to tongue kill. Ouch. My wife was shocked and told me she earned it because she couldn't punch a grandma.
I literally lost
old lady
my ball
tongue.
because of that.
Yeah. Zach did okay this week. Ryan says gonna be awesome. Chris the Pintern. Dude. Chris, are you looking forward to Wonka? I know you played it. Two Brothers Pale Ale. Now, we've got a little special announcement about Two Brothers Pale Ale. Two Brothers Pale Ale might be making a resurgence on the Special One Lit Pinball podcast. Let me just catch up on chat here, and I'm going to go.
No, it's fine. Take your time.
NH Polar Bear says, I listen to many podcasts. I thought you two sounded very similar, even though you're from two different areas. I have a good ear. Anyone else agree?
What do we sound like? You and I sound alike?
I don't know. Maybe Ron Hallett and maybe the Slam Tilt Pinball podcast?
Oh, they figured it out, huh?
Is that what it
I
is?
get it now. That's all right.
Josh said, I'd very much like if I came and joined you guys. Utah's a little far from Missouri is, which is true. And the other thing about this, Josh, is we're not in Missouri. We're in Chicago. But Missouri's far from Chicago, but maybe not as far
Listen,
from
Utah.
Utah.
You're not far from Illinois. You're just far from where we're at. That's the real issue.
Right, exactly.
Because we're 5 hours away from St. Louis, as they say.
I'm Otto, a specialist. What can I get for you? Angler Pale Ale.
So you start the game, you've got a tent available, so you can get right into a mode, which is always nice.
Yeah, you don't have to jump
And
around.
it's
through
cool
hoops
because
to
if
get it.
you want to get into a multi-ball, you can do that. Now, my Stein aids chugging, which is the Angler Pale Ale. So I'm going to go right into that. Why not?
Nice. Wow. So she's I love that mode. So she's an experienced player. So we won't bet for money.
I need that left orbit, and I need that drop target. So... Ooh, just missed. Let's try that again.
Chris, man, you just
There we go.
gotta suck it up and get one, man. That's a cool
All right,
game.
so Inga's down. Who do I got next here?
So you think you can beat
Yeah, so Otto's now taunting me, so I've got to go ahead. I have to hit that right orbit shot. And then, I was looking the wrong way. I needed to hit the 180 ramp shot to go ahead and beat Otto. So, my bad. Trying to learn just like everybody else, so. my
That's
fault.
all right.
Good times. Who's from Missouri? Slap Save. Well, I know Chris Haper's from Missouri, and that is Slap Save right there. So, and I think right now the St. Louis Blues are playing right now in Stanley Cup Game 1, right? Chris the Pintern says he's super excited about Wonka. One of our places in town is going to put it on location. That's great. I think a lot of people are going to really enjoy Wonka when they get in front of it and play it and take in the experience. Josh says, I don't know. I hear whoever they are, and they're good at what they do. I don't know if that's us, great. And if it's not, kudos to anybody that's being good at what they do. And his Polar Bear says it's the dialect, Boston accent, New York accent, Chicago accent. He says he likes us too. He looks forward to weekly unfiltered pontification. I will say this, like, I do not like the Chicago accent. Is that weird? Like, I'm from Chicago and I have it. I don't like the Chicago, Wisconsin, like, accent. I personally don't like. That's why I don't like talking unless I'm recording. And then I never listen to our shows.
I don't know what accent they're talking about.
There's
honesty.
absolutely like a dialect for Chicago.
I mean, I think we got a colorful way of dropping F-bombs in Chicago, but that's about it.
There we go. There we go. Wonka.
Oh, damn. I did perfect your shot, though, from one end to the other.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So
There
it
you
is
go.
possible.
Which shot are you talking about?
Dude, from the left flipper up the...
Oh, so you
Up
came
the
back
dra-
up?
the-
Yeah.
the-
See, you got to be able to do that. Let's see if we can hit that 75,000 point skill shot.
Dude, that should be our mission for the night right there.
You could maybe get it on an accidental rebound, like hitting those Oktoberfest targets, but
Yeah, I wonder if you got to ricochet it off of something, dude.
yeah, I mean, as long as it's lit, you can. Are you serious? All right, thank you. I'm gonna stop talking. Less talking, more bad pinball.
Yeah, no, Zach doesn't have an accent at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Ferris Bueller was definitely one of the highlights, man, of movies in that era. That and what else was good? The what's his name? Before he went to Church of Scientology. Tom Cruise. Someone on here knows what I'm talking about.
What are you talking about?
Dude, the Tom Cruise movie where he's on the train with Rebecca De Mornay.
Is that 12 Monkeys?
No, dude. Dude, from the
Attack
80s.
from Mars?
From the 80s.
Top Gun.
Not Top Gun, dude. Risky Business, Dave. You're my
Dude,
man.
That's old school.
Absolutely, and Breakfast Club was good too.
That's old school.
Yeah, and then in the '90s or like mid '90s, dude, Mayor Daley like really kind of screwed the production companies over, so a lot of people stopped filming here. And it was only like the 2000s.
Oh, we're getting into Chicago politics for movie. And that's why the Star Wars Museum ultimately never came here, because George Lucas, that was supposed to come to Chicago, Illinois, dude, on the lakefront, and it's so whacked out here in Illinois. But if there's one thing that we're not, Bill, it's political. So let's do this. Let's keep drinking the High Life. I do not drink Miller High Life, but I'm drinking it tonight because it was brought to my house yesterday, and I'm like the beer carp. I don't want anything to go to waste or attempt expiration. If there's any Miller High Life drinkers out there, I don't know how you do it. It's pretty impressive.
I did try to backhand that left ramp, and it just didn't have enough oomph.
So Chris says Chicagoland Pinball has an accent. Fuck, it's thick. Da Bears. I don't like Da Bears. But let me ask you this, Chris, and be honest. When you are listening to the special When Lit Pinball podcast, do you seem to feel that you're associating us with a Chicago accent? Please let us know. Oh, had a couple drinks like each other. It's gonna be a wild stream. Woo!
Dude, you doing that voice, man, was like Ferris Bueller, where Cameron was on the phone. This is Sergeant Peterson from the Chicago
Sergeant
Police.
Peterson, downtown police. Yeah. Great movie.
The Sausage King of Chicago.
Abe Froman.
Abe Froman.
You're Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago.
Yeah, dude, that's that's probably one of my favorite terms, dude, for English swearing.
Abe Froman?
No, not Abe Froman. Wanka. You bloody wanka. Dude, that's like watching some Top Gear. Hearing their one-liners when they're calling their buddies out. That's always a good time.
Oh, look, that was with such freaking force there that the wire forms of Oktoberfest could not even contain my nuclear shot. Did you see that?
Too much power.
That was pretty sick. Somebody should clip that, because that was impressive. Not as impressive as hitting that scoop shot from the right flipper, but who's to blame here? Let's go to a mode we haven't seen today. So we got some duck hunts. We can shoot some ducks.
I haven't done duck or target
shooting. They should have axe throwing or something. Sky slide, we've been there.
I did that one.
Bumper cars, you go into the pops. Tap it, we've done that. Looper. All right, so if you get into Looper, it'll lower that left ramp for you, because that lamp's not lowered unless you light those Oktoberfest targets. And when I first got the game, I thought that it was broken because that ramp wasn't going down. You cannot backhand it without turning up the flippers a little bit. And for those of you that like a little snappier Stern style nuclear flipper, you can actually pile it right up there. So what we'll do is we'll play the game as intended here, try to park this ball on that right flipper, and then hit that left corkscrew shot. It's gonna lock it up there, and you can see a nice little fun wire form.
This is a great wire form.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. The thing that messes you up is you see that ball kind of hit that wire form in like a slow motion, and then in its last effort here, it speeds up, and it really messes up your shot to bring it back on the ramp. Slow, 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 slow. Then it kind of drops out fast. So at least that's how it feels after a couple of Miller High Lifes. Which it could just be the
No. I'm still sober, and it still looks that. Oh,
see, well, and when it
jumped
skips
it.
off the wire form, it's a little bit concerning.
Yeah, dude, I got to get a picture of that Abe Froman pizza place in Chicago. If we get that, dude, we'll have to post a picture of it on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, I was kind of out of there.
One more last little
all right,
shot there.
Here we go. Let's see if it stays on the flipper this time.
It speeds up at the very end, and you're almost certainly delayed on that shot. So you really have to, it's not an easy, slow setup shot to keep the continuance of that corkscrew ramp. I'm trying to figure out my scoring strategy here. I think I'm going to go for the Proust Targets a little bit. And try to light the barrel lock shot. All right, well, roller coaster locks lit. So that's going to be that corkscrew shot again. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we did say that already, Chris the Pin Turn. What's your favorite feature of the game? Honestly, I do like the modes. The modes are great. I love the pop bumpers.
Your favorite feature of the game is the modes. That's awesome, man.
Well, dude, I mean, how diverse they are and how different they are. Sorry, that might not be descriptive enough.
No,
and that's a reason.
I thought that was awesome.
And that's a reason why you don't drink 50-50s the night before you stream. just a prime example.
The part about the game is the modes.
Yeah, the modes, man.
That's classic. I'm going to start a little juggling right now. I'm going to go. I feel like a multi-ball.
The juggling one is cool. Favorite mode is the beer chugging and the dog one, I think, though.
I do want to play a little one-handed beer mode though here coming up shortly.
Yeah, I think after this game, dude, we'll do a 2-minute intermission and then we'll jump on some one-handed stuff here.
Yeah.
You know what? Honestly, the skill shots are so tough, man. That's another cool thing about it. And the wire forms are just badass.
The skill shots aren't terribly tough. It's just a matter of.
I don't think they're easy.
That was a pretty bad juggling multi-ball, by the way. So now, for those of you that are like, well, what have you completed? What's going on? It's great because you've got all the tents that are here. The 3 that I completed, or that I've gone through, I didn't necessarily win those modes, but I visited these tents. And then I have like 11 more. I think there's 14 tents. I see food is lit up there if I want to go ahead and activate some extra scoring. It's a tough shot from the left flipper, but if I can flipper pass here and bring it to my right flipper and then kind of park there, I've got a much easier path to that food target that I missed. I'll try it from the left flipper, and that's what ends up happening is I get in a little bit of trouble with the that little rubber next to that kind of scoop thing. So, all right, so now we're in food.
And anyone that's looking for Joe Fox, thanks for throwing that in there. Anyone looking to purchase an Oktoberfest, please call Flip N Out Pinball, Zach, 847-778-4876, or you can reach him at email, zach@flippinoutpinball.com. Yeah, dude, Italian beef is definitely a Chicago staple, but I think you got to go Johnny's beef, Dave. In all honesty, Portillo's is good, but Johnny's rocks it. So, another question I have for everybody. Anyone in chat? Is there anybody in chat that has purchased a Oktoberfest and has it on its way?
I know for a fact there were 2 people that were in, or at least one person that was in chat that
has the game?
That bought the game
okay.
After watching the stream. So I think it is what it is. Shoot.
Oh, damn. Ken's on a roll, man.
See, now I have not collected enough steins to add power-ups to my modes, and hitting the bar there multiple times and having the bar open up allows you to collect those steins. So let's try Food Frenzy.
Shoot everything.
Shoot everything. It's complicated and as easy as it sounds. Just shoot everything.
Shoot anything.
I think I will do that.
Nice.
This is a great mode to stack with a multi-ball because at this point you've got all of your kind of targets that are scoring. And with a multi-ball going, if you're able to get the keg or corkscrew multi-ball, I mean, that's how you kind of blow up the game on the short term. I think when I had a game that was over 1 million, that's kind of what happened with one of the modes. One of my games there.
Just French bread, man. Nothing too crazy. All right, so you finished that mode, though.
So when you finish the modes, they don't end. I don't know why I didn't even take it, but they allow you to keep scoring. Did I finish that mode? I didn't even
I think
realize
so.
if I did. Okay.
All right, and I think now we'll do a little commercial, a little plug. I'm going to use the...
Was that
Dude,
was that ball 3?
Yeah, you knocked that out, though. And then we'll come back and we'll do some one-handed pinball play. Bill might have a chance of doing all right versus Ken that one.
Oh, well, before we do that, though.
Hey. All right, so my goal is to get on the leaderboard once before it leaves. Now, I would really like to do it with the glass off, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make that happen.
You want to do it with the glass off, huh?
No, I'm kidding.
All right, so let's do this for a quick second. Let's go ahead. We'll turn down the Oktoberfest because it is a festival here in the Special and Lit Pinball Podcast studio.
And they're gonna run.
And before we take a quick break, I wanted to ask everybody how they feel about distributorship. Like, where do you find your next distributor? Good enough place for me. Good times. So Zach at Flip N Out Pinball. Again, we thank you for your trust. We thank you for letting us stream the hottest and newest games as they come out in the studio. So let's catch up on chat. Is it true Zach is working with Stern to launch a line of special White Star vaults, starting with Striker Extreme? We'll let Zach comment on that. He says it's not true. That is not true. Chris the Pintern is really looking forward to hearing the market trends for this week. If you haven't heard the market trends for this week, you have to stop what you're doing right now. You've got to go to This Week in Pinball podcast and check out the market trends. Market trends have been known to start and launch a career or end a dynasty. So I recommend that you check it out. Slap Save loves that commercial. I love that commercial too, man. It gets me pretty pumped up. I dig it. It's good times. Falgren. He's saying that, hey, we're in the capital of the world. Capital for Dave is Chicago. Chicago, home of pinball. Home of Stern Pinball. Let's just take a minute. Chicago has Stern Pinball. Has Chicago Gaming Company. Has American Pinball. Has satellite office of Jersey Jack Pinball. And when you think about like the capital or the conglomerate of pinball, it's right here, all centrally located within like a 25-mile radius. It's pretty sick, man. It's pretty fun. We're gonna get back on Oktoberfest in a second. Bill is stepping out to check the oil, so to speak, and we're just gonna kind of chill out. So I was talking to Josh last week about what's a nice game on Oktoberfest, and for me, I think a respectable game on Oktoberfest is like over 1 million, but he was talking about 5 million, 10 million, 50 million point games. We are not the guys that are going to blow up a machine on a regular basis. So if you see something that's in the multi-millions, it's because we had a good night. But I kind of like that approach to pinball because if I'm watching a pinball stream, I'm watching it for one of two reasons, I guess. One is I want to see a game and just get an idea how it shoots. Or two, I want to see a game get blown up and exploit the scoring. We're not going to exploit the scoring and blow up a game. I think that's for you to kind of see in your own house. You need to come in and get this game in your home, and you need to explore all the modes. You need to see what happens after you visit all 14 tents, because there's a wizard mode there. You need to see what happens after you get into a food coma, and there's a mini wizard mode there. You need to experience the game for yourself.
Yeah,
we're here to just kind of hang out and show you the game. It's good times. What else do we have going on here? Slap Save. Winter's 8 months long here in Chicago. Yes, it is. Lord Helmet, it's great. So many people support that segment. Eclectic seems right. And then you've got Zonrith, who I believe is Scott, who says more like market trolls. So, all right. So that let me ask you guys this, and we're going to start a one-handed game here. And let's. I'm not going to put this to rest, but I'm curious when all of you that do listen to pinball podcasts, what are you looking to get from your pinball podcast? Are you looking for, I would say, one, overall basic coverage of the news for the week? Number 2, are you looking for entertainment value with segments?
And different perspectives on things going on in the hobby.
Or number 3, are you just looking for general banter of people that discuss pinball? Because I can say that just about all of the podcasts that are out there have approached this subject on every single plane.
Or for tournament play coverage.
So if you guys get a chance, I would love to see what is actually being preferred, because if we haven't done anything, we've asked to try to kind of steer our show into the direction of the listeners. Like, what do they want to hear?
Yeah.
And that's our special When Lit Pinball podcast.
I think we do need to come up with a new segment, though, that I was thinking about earlier that maybe we shall or shall not discuss.
I think our next segment should be, what do you want in Pinball Podcast?
No,
Pirate Captain Red Eye said he just wants news. So if you want news, you got to go to TWIP, right? You have to go to special... Or
TWIP is your source.
You have to go to This Week in Pinball. TurboGrafx 7, which is Ryan, he says it's the personalities that get him to listen.
And we are in one-handed mode, just for everyone watching.
There we go. Zomer says news, pure news, slap save, pinball market trends, and Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil is he welcomes everybody to pinball podcasting. And then Chris from Slap Save, from the Christopher Haper, formerly of Slap Saves, he says F the news. Who cares about the news? SNK says Sammy has to be Rosenberg's cousin. Maybe Mr. Mackey. The Sammy Pinballs. Who is that guy? You like that guy?
It's entertaining. It's interesting.
Is it entertaining or interesting?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Sorry, guys. I'm trying to focus on this.
Pins Rule says I like stories and quizzes. So for somebody who's looking for like a game show style format, again, TWIP kind of has that. Flip N Out Pinball, he thinks TWIP Brick Shot with Chris Haper has a ring to it. That could be a segment. I mean, God knows, everybody knows that like pinball podcasts can have segments with other people doing segments. Segments within segments, podcasts within podcasts. I'm going to turn the audio up on Oktoberfest.
Yeah. I might have jumped in a little too early on.
Is this one-handed? Is this one-handed mode?
One-hand mode. Sorry, guys, just getting caught up on reading here. Frick. Love the Frick. Yeah, you know what? There's been a couple podcasts that have interesting production or sound quality that makes it kind of a rough listen. And honestly, that's also a learning curve, because when you see stuff like that, you're hoping that people do.
I'm showing my hand.
Yeah.
For authenticity of the one-handed mode. Here we go. You ready?
They said it would be a lot cooler if you could slap yourself while playing. I was lying on that, by the way.
Oh.
But, hey, whatever makes for good content.
Hey, wait. I'm employed by Flip N Out Pinball now. I work for the masses.
Yeah, Coast to Coast has changed a little bit. But you know what? That's all right, man. Maybe they'll find their way and come back at some point.
Coast to Coast hasn't changed. They just ceased to exist.
Yeah.
But they teased new content coming. So I think what we're going to see with Coast to Coast is end of an old format with a renaissance rebirthing of a new.
Yeah, that's why I said I don't know if it's necessarily gone. Dude, it seems to me in this hobby that people get pissed off.
It's not gone.
And say something. Can you see my hand on the table if I put it over here?
Let's see.
Yeah,
I'll let you know. We're on a little bit of a delay here, so we're going to do that. But you should be holding a beer. I don't know why I wasn't holding my beer. We have to do that next time. So the thing with me is, like, I did not get in on the pioneer aspect of Nate Shivers and Coast to Coast. So I appreciate the podcast for what it was, but at like a later time in its existence. So I wasn't somebody that was listening to pinball podcasts for a very long time. Full disclosure, the first pinball podcast I ever listened to was Canada's Pinball Podcast, and that was because there was an uprising in a discussion about his podcast, and I think at the time he was marketing like the worst podcast of all time at a show or something, and I just happened to listen. And I don't know, it's just one of those things. It's interesting to see how everybody kind of gets into a pinball podcast. White Noise says he played Oktoberfest, fun game. Ramps were a bit challenging to hit though. Wonder if it was the power. I think it was the power. The ramps are not hard to hit on this machine in our studio. It's just a matter of lining up your shots. It's not very bricky, which is nice. And then Dave was saying, Bill, you're thinking head-to-head.
Yeah, I was. And I always get those two confused. But
Bunker Punk says, Teola's had one hell of a Tommy production this week on Pinball Profile. Yeah, I guess he had a pretty big podcast with a lot of celebrity guests. The thing with me is like there's a lot of tournament players, and I haven't listened to it yet. I'm not tournament driven, so it's awesome that content's out there for the tournament player. Jeff Teolis in general is a very professional guy, and he's been in the radio and recording business for a long time.
Yeah.
So good times.
But that's the thing, though.
I mean, I think that there's enough content now in the hobby that, dude, you can find
There's a
something that
podcast
you want to
for
listen
everybody,
to. Yeah.
man.
You know, whether it's competitor play or
What can I get for
drinking or whatever you might have you.
Meister? Outlane saving just got easier.
Not sure who you're talking about, CNK, but we're not trying to offend anybody. But you know, everyone has their own different take. Old Bill Webb.
I will say this. I'm getting tired of tippy-toeing around offending people, especially in lieu of what's been discussed lately on other shows. Like, everybody wants to complain about being offended, and then they get offended themselves. So, I mean, we're always going to be respectful on Special Winlet Pinball Podcast. I'm not as easy-footed on everybody else's feelings as I was, I think, when we first started. Because I think the people that listen to us at this point, they have an idea of what we're all about. Oh my gosh, you cannot nudge with one hand. So if you don't
Thanks,
get us
Nick.
at this point, you're probably not going to get us anyways.
No. And you know what? As long as someone's not literally calling out someone's physical characteristics, that's one that pisses me off.
I agree. You don't go on a personal attack on somebody's like personal character. If you want to make a comment on something that somebody said,
Yeah.
or if you want to respectfully debate an effort in pinball, I totally get it. But that being said, I'm not going to hold back either on somebody else that might say something that is derogatory towards us. And I think that was something that might have happened potentially last week, and we addressed that on our podcast that we recorded before this stream. So I'm not going to sit idle and let people walk all over pinball or us. And at the same time, we're not going to blow sunshine up everybody's ass and candy coat everything either. I mean, there's got to be a line of checks and balances and a comfortable medium that makes sense for everybody that listens and that plays and that supports pinball. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, we just don't have the time to blow sunshine up people's butts. So, yeah, dude. I mean, I don't care what people are want to critique us on, whatever. That's fine. Just don't go on the personal attack. That's the
I
only
do
one
like that
pisses me
Emoto
off.
Arcade's here. And Emoto, I had reached out to you via Facebook in regard. We had a show that we were trying to do, and I had not heard back from you via private message. Probably because she's like, who the hell are these Special Winlet guys? But if you get a chance, if you could, if you would reach out to us or consider responding to us on a future reach out, that would be good times. Thanks for the support, guys. I mean, he likes rainbows and unicorns. Thanks, Chris. It's not about rainbows and unicorns. Listen, guys, and this is it. It's pinball. Bill always says it's not a liver. It's not a kidney. It's not life or death. We all have to figure out where we want pinball to go in its progression and its exposure, and to belittle one another and to pick little fights and to focus on the shortcomings of pinball instead of celebrating the accolades and the achievements, I think is counterproductive to what everybody wants to see and what we love moving forward. Now, does that mean
We're not gonna
ignoring
address-
issues?
No.
No, it doesn't, because you have to have a level of accountability. You certainly have to do that. But the little petty shit where people want to get on everybody else's back, like, I just don't adhere to it. I don't agree with it. So,
No.
my bad.
No, and I mean, there's stuff in this hobby that I don't like. And we will address it, but I mean, you don't need to be a complete dick about it.
Where's my drink? Hold on.
You know, everyone gets butthurt over a lot of this stuff, man, and it's like, you know, hold the hand of somebody that's getting ready to leave this world, man. That's something that's, you know, worth being upset about. But, you know,
Hold the hand of somebody leaving the world, dude. You're just kind of like,
yeah, I went a little deep there, but I mean, it's pinball, dude. It's not, you know, dude. There's greater travesties in this world, man. How about the single mom that's barely affording a place to live, dude? This is a luxury that we are able to complain
Bill,
about this.
there are splitting cabinets.
There are
It's like, oh, that sucks.
there are splitting
Give me a ball
cabinets in the
thing?
world.
No
Ken.
ball thing.
There,
See, you just messed me
there
up.
are splitting cabinets in the world, man.
No, it's all good times. I think everybody has a right to be expressing themselves. Just do everybody a favor. Express yourselves in a professional and human being type of a manner.
Yeah,
So,
don't judge somebody because you never
Right.
know what somebody's going through.
Agreed. Moto Arcade, no worries. Let's connect at some point.
We're doing
Because there was
another-
something I wanted to work with you on it if you're up for it. Let's see, as we go into chat, Joe Fox is asking Scott how the baby's doing. And I think that's pretty important to realize that
That's a great question.
there's a baby pin stadium in the mix over there in Cincinnati. Smitty says deep thoughts with Bill and Ken.
That was
When a thing lurches across the room and leaches onto a guy's neck, what is that thing, right? Deep thoughts.
Hey, my favorite episode of that from Saturday Night Live, dude, Deep Thoughts with Jack Handy was, you know, if you drop your keys in a pile of molten lava, just leave them.
Pinsroll says, I didn't find out if you two lads are coming to Pinburg to catch up for drinkies. You know what? I've not been to Pinburg ever. And based on the flash time you need to get tickets, like, I'm not a competitive player for pinball, but I wouldn't mind going to the general Pittsburgh area and hanging out. I'm going to turn this chat over to you in a second. Baby Pin Stadium is 11 weeks old, so rock and rolling. What do we have else going on here? Come for Replay FX and hang out. It's fun. Yeah, I'm sure it is totally fun. The thing of it is also this, like, we budgeted ourselves for Texas Pinball Festival. And I mean, that's kind of the pinball budget for the shows this year. You know, it's
Well, and
we're not raking in the cash here at the Special Win Lit Pinball podcast or the Flip N Out Pinball stream.
No,
You
the
know, we're just
budget
doing
is a little tight. And honestly, I mean, I know one of the other problems that I have is my wife will be 20 weeks this week.
Oh no. I mean, that's great.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you nailed it with the first expression of oh no.
That was like,
as,
Freudian slip there.
Things,
Sorry about
things
that.
have been a little emotional at the Webb household, and we're just looking forward to getting to October, and you know, not for Expo. I believe me, we're gonna be talking about Expo.
Scott wants to know what the due date is.
It's actually,
Pinball Expo.
It's actually October 16th,
That's
like the day before Expo.
Bill's done. Bill's done. All right. Are we doing one or two?
We're doing one.
Still one?
I wasn't gonna tell you that we were doing one, so I wanted to see you try and play.
I would have figured it out pretty quick.
I wanted to see you try and play two hands.
I'm gonna nail that skill shot on this one right here. Ready? Watch this.
Hey, all right, we're
Calling
we'll
the shot. Here we go. Oh.
Just a bit outside. Tried the corner and missed. Yeah. So honestly, my with the wife being pregnant and you know just kind of an interesting time. So I will not be leaving too far from the house this year. I'm still going to try and make it to Expo. Depending on when we actually do have our baby. If it's like literally the day before, guys, I'm probably out.
What?
But anyone
The
coming
baby's
in
already born. You have like at least 18 hours to get to Expo.
No, we'll be 4 days, man.
It's horrible. Where is your commitment, man?
I know. I'm
We're
such a.
streaming pinball on the Flip N Out Pinball channel. You can't just not go to Expo because a baby was born.
Hey, listen, man. For anyone that wants to come by the Bill Webb house, that might be a much more open invitation.
Right.
We can sit on the patio and.
Dude, bring the baby to Expo.
Yeah. So let me get this straight here.
Expose the baby early to pinball.
and germs and
Well, you know,
swearing.
the best thing for a new baby is exposure to germs.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
not a pinball show because that's excessive germs.
Yeah,
but
I'm
for
not
the
trying to
most
give my
part.
child the bubonic
Right,
plague.
that's true.
So
I
yeah,
take back everything I said.
yeah. So we'll see. So yeah, Pinburg's definitely out, man. I gotta definitely be in the area.
Oh, jeez.
I can't afford to have it out with the wife on this. Hey,
Bill,
listen.
Are you playing the wife card, Bill?
I
Or not going to
am
Expo?
playing the wife
Or
card,
the new
man.
baby card.
I'm not. I'm playing. I don't want to get divorced card. Hey, dude. You know what? Maybe Zach, dude. I'll
Divorce is the new like single. It's like,
Well, that's why the wife doesn't know what they really cost. Because I could give her $5,000 for everything in the basement and say, "Here's your half."
she doesn't know what divorces cost.
No,
For
she doesn't know what
babies.
the pinball machines cost downstairs.
Oh, all right,
Yeah.
So you're having two different conversations.
Yeah. No, Scott, maybe I will come to Expo, man, and we'll bring William E. Webb the Fifth. See if he can sell some pinball machines, man. So, yeah, we'll see about that. I'm still debating on Expo if I'm going to try and bring Whirlwind. I don't think I'm going to, but we'll see. But if I bring Whirlwind, it's not going to be in general play area.
Oh. Sounds like it's going to be in the VIP area, huh? With the
Roped off.
roped off. The roped off whirlwind.
Roped off sounds like broke.
Bunker
back.
Punk says you should call the baby Expo. Or you know what you should do? Hey, can you ask the wife to just have the baby at Expo? Maybe at the special when lit reveal party. There's not an ultimate reveal would be like a baby coming out.
Hey, nothing like
That would be pretty impressive.
actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, nothing says flipping out pinball like having a baby in the booth, right?
Well, I'm pretty sure nobody's
And Scott could.
offered a live.
And Scott could bring the lights for it.
Has anybody live birth like streamed a baby birth from a pinball expo? I mean, if you don't get the views from that,
Listen, I have nothing but love for our audience, but that's not something the audience will be privy to.
right?
You know,
it's like,
that sort of work
But
ain't
it's
working
like-
for me. Just saying.
Are you recording a baby birth or no?
No.
Yeah, I
Listen,
didn't either.
dude, for anyone that's been in the room when your child is born,
That's
and
one-
could look down there.
That'd be a crazy seminar,
Dude,
Zach says.
my neighbor did that. He warned me. He's like, dude, do not look down there. It ruins things for the rest of your life. And I'm like, thank you for the input.
Well, we have some information coming in. Flip N Out Pinball says they will sponsor the live birthing at Expo. and I'm pretty sure Scott from Penn Stadium will have some type of Penn Stadiums on the birth on the action zone of the extraction.
I'm sure
that could be good.
I'll bring it up
like,
to the wife. And
and
Scott,
a whole new meaning to Orion's belt, like
Scott,
or under Orion's belt. Woo! What's going
or
on?
Zach, does that mean that you'll pay for the Uber to get to Expo and you'll provide clean towels and water?
Amoto says you should turn an old cab into a cradle, dude. It's like, you know what? We're gonna take that old demolition or that old Transformers cab that went through Hurricane Sandy.
dude, I
We're gonna
cut
make
that
that
up
into a
already.
cradle. You should make it into a baby crib out of a old school pinball.
We'll take
cab.
a vote. All right. So if we get
All right.
enough, if we
I
get
like
enough
that.
votes for making a mini pinball cabinet cradle, maybe I'll do it.
Right. All right.
'Cause I'm absolutely sure my wife,
I'm still gonna nail that.
my
skill shot.
wife would love to see a little mini whirlwind with our child inside of it.
Well, it's like a little mini hurricane, dude.
Scott kind of nailed this one. UV glow fires each time there's a contraction.
Oh my gosh! And then we can install like a shaker motor.
For what? Each time she breaks a finger in my
Oh
hand?
my gosh!
No.
Right. And can I pin sound it? Do you
Boy, am
mind
I
if
sure glad this will be on YouTube for the wife to watch later, man.
Oh, the UV glow on contract.
I see another pop bumper coming. Look out. Damn.
Oh, that's classic, dude.
Oh, that's
UV
terrible.
glow on contractions.
That's crazy,
Where
dude.
would you? Where would you put those alligator clips? For
Dude,
that?
she might not like that. She might not like where the alligator clips
Oh
go,
my
man.
gosh. That's like it's like a poor man's piercing. Holy cow! This just got crazy.
This just went dark, man. And for that, we'll turn the Penn Stadiums off.
Dude.
The show went dark really looks
Right,
like.
right. Can you see us in there? It's like, so this is This is birth with the pin stadiums.
At 7
and then
o'clock.
during birth, this is without the pin stadiums at 7 centimeters dilated. Wow, guys. Sorry.
Hey, man, you
Happy
know what?
Memorial Day.
Isn't Dr. Pin a maternal doctor?
I don't know, man, but I'm going to tell you.
Hey,
when I woke up this morning,
message him.
I had no idea we'd be thinking about where we'd put alligator clips for UV glow on contractions for a baby that was being birthed at Expo and live streamed on Flip N Out.
Yeah.
Like that. In my wildest dreams, dude, I could not have concocted anything that was even close to that. So, woo! I hope that your wife doesn't watch this because this might be your last stream, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
My wife thinks I'm in the bathroom, so it makes no difference, man. I'm good. Are we still playing this one-handed? Oh, yeah, for now. Dude, Scott's awesome. Oh, my goodness. All right, so that being said, what the hell are we doing here? This is a great game. We have 20,000 points.
Hey, dude, we're within 100 and something of each other.
All right, so let's do a
Let's
race.
actually try.
Let's do a race to 100,000 points here.
All right.
And obviously, I'm going to do that by hitting safe shots that don't score me any points.
So he's an anesthesiologist. So that's no good.
No ball safe.
Well, I mean, it is good because, dude, he could put her out and then we could figure it out, but whatever.
Oh. Thanks, Joe, for clarifying that.
All right, so that was it. All right, good.
Thank God.
All right, so I think this is what we're gonna do. As we're at 8:23 right now, we're gonna pause for a little. Can you do me a favor? Can you open up that coin door and turn down that Oktoberfest music for a second? All the way down. Want to take a second and just thank everybody that's in chat tonight that's watching us kind of do the farewell stream as we get Oktoberfest. We move it along to bigger and better places. We will have a transitional game next week on the Flip N Out Pinball channel. And then Zach, Menny, and Nicole, they're going to be bringing in a brand new hot title starting first week of June. I'm not going to reveal that yet because I'm not sure that Zach knows exactly what he wants to do, but that's going to be fun. Again, you guys are going to realize our streams are different, right?
Second week of June.
First or second week of June.
Yeah.
Okay. Our streams are a little bit different. We want to show you the game. We want to demo the game. We don't want to blow up the game, but we want to have these mics live. It's an extension of our podcast. I'm Ken, and he is Bill. We are from the Special One Lit Pinball Podcast. Zach, Menny, and Nicole Menny have given us the opportunity to stream these new games for the Flip N Out Pinball channel, and we couldn't be happier. So as we approach halftime here and we start the second leg of our night, it's already been a little bit crazy, but that's fine because it gets wilder from here.
And we want to thank Scott from Penn Stadium. He sponsored the... We wanted to say thank you to Scott for sponsoring the Penn Stadium lights on the game, as well as the pregnancy of Miss Webb.
Right. Scott, thank you so much for the... So what Scott does is he lights these games up, right? So we get these games in studio, and the Penn Stadium lights are applied. So you're going to see Penn Stadium in a different way, or you're going to see Penn Stadium on the news titles.
Yeah.
We'll do it before and after. Before we end the stream tonight, we're going to show you before and after. So if you haven't seen that, that's great.
Should we do a game real quick with them off?
I don't know. Should we do a game with the Penn Stadiums off?
Let's see what...
Let's take 2 minutes.
Let's see what the masses say.
If you want to close that coin door, we'll see what's going on as we look in the chat. Wide body crib like a waterbed because it's so floaty. You don't want to have like newborn babies in any type of water. Like
They
I
just
learned
got
that
out of
on,
water. They don't need to go back in.
right. They were they were lit from the inside there a little bit. Penn Stadium, my pleasure, guys. Working with you. Yeah, Scott.
Absolutely, Scott. Good dude, man.
Love being associated with you, man. So it's good times. So the promo video is awesome. It's Flip N Out Pinball. If you guys are looking to buy an Oktoberfest, if you're looking to buy the new Black Knight Sword of Rage, if you're looking to put your order in on Willy Wonka, any of those editions,
JJP
Deadpool, Munsters, hit up Zach at Flip N Out Pinball. It's 847-778-4876. Or if you're watching the screen right now, look a little bit over to your left, and you'll see that email there. It's Zach, Z-A-C-H, at flippinoutpinball.com. The one thing you're going to like about Zach, he's not one of those guys that's going to get a phone call or email and take days to get back to you. He's right back in your face taking care of you, just like Scott at Penn Stadium. So I appreciate those guys for that.
Absolutely. They know no time. They don't live by a clock, it seems.
No. So, do you need to step out or anything before we start round 2 of Oktoberfest? And then what we'll do is,
Well, what time do you want to go till?
well, at the conclusion of the stream here, which I think will probably close out around 9 o'clock, we're going to do the Flip N Out Pinball After Hours, in which we kind of tame the game and shut it down a little bit, and we just go live from chat, and you can ask us anything, and we can ask you anything. So
We
we
won't keep it as real as we did last week. Yeah, Bill, we'll take a minute to make
go
sure
ahead.
everything's
I'll keep this chat rolling. I'm gonna turn down this this audio for a quick second, and I will be your solo host here on the Flip N Out Pinball Twitch stream. Emoto Arcade says, quote of the day: they just got out of water. They don't need to go back in. Are they in water? I think they're in like a sack. I don't know what's going on with that. Like, there should be gills or something that happens. I don't know the specifics, but it's great. Listen, so these Monday nights have become a fun place for the pinball celebrities and the pinball podcasters and the passionate pinball fans, the listeners, the guys that get in Twitch and to chat, to kind of all come together and hang out on Mondays. And I don't know if this is what Zach, and maybe you can comment on this. I don't know if this is what you envision, but this has been just such a fun hangout for us on Mondays, because we know that, yeah, it's great. We're playing a brand new game, and you cannot ever beat that. There's not a better feeling in pinball than playing something new and then being able to share that feeling with your buddies. But now we're sharing it with, people that are coming in on chat. So, I mean, that's really cool. So thank you for that. Yeah, I don't know if they have gills. That's probably not the proper anatomy of a baby and a fetus that's in water, so to speak. So we all look forward to it Monday. So thanks for stopping by. Zach, do you have any comments on or let's do this. Everybody in chat, we've seen Oktoberfest now. This is the last week we're going to see it. Again, we've got a transitional game coming in next week that we are going to stream, because I think the following week, Flip N Out Pinball is going to be providing us with a new pin. What does everybody want to see? I'd be curious to see what it is. I don't know if Zach's made up his mind on what's going to be ultimately delivered to the Special and Lit Pinball Podcast Studio, but I'm anxiously anticipating it. I don't have any inside information, and we're playing these games. I think that's part of the element of surprise, so I do like that. Zach is superhuman. He does not sleep. I'm not even sure if I've ever seen him eat. I saw him once at Expo, and he was at a restaurant, but I didn't see him consume food. Scott at Penn Stadium wants to see Wonka. Slap Save, which is Chris, he wants to see Dirty Harry. So I think it's pretty safe to say Zach at Flippin' Out, having his distributorship, we're going to be streaming new games and not games that have been in existence that can no longer be purchased new in box. Schmitty wants to see Whirlwind. Again, may or may not see that on the Flip N Out Pinball channel. You might see that on our Special When Lit Pinball podcast channel.
Yeah, at some point we'll play that.
We're not plugging our own channel, but we do have our own little satellite streaming channel that pops in and out when it's appropriate. So games that aren't new, that can't be purchased immediately, you might see on a little Special When Lit podcast. And on Twitch for us, it's literally, you can follow us at Special When Lit Podcast on Twitch. Hope that's okay that we mentioned that, Zach. Gills, I don't know if there's gills. Anyhow, Penn Stadium Slap Save, he does have a really nice Dirty Halle Berry.
A
Dirty Halle Berry. That's Catwoman, right?
Yeah,
the Catwoman edition. It's the Dirty Halle Berry.
That's
The Dirty Halle
what
Berry.
should have done, man. The Dirty Halle
The
Berry.
Dirty Halle Berry edition.
Yeah.
Right, complete with gills and Penn Stadiums on the
Absolutely.
contractions.
Yeah, UV glow contraction.
Oh,
flasher.
snap. All right, so let's do this. Start another game. We're going to go back to two-handed mode, because what we want to do is this game we're just going to hit the wizard mode, because we've been holding that back.
Yeah, we're just gonna light it up.
All right, let's do it.
Welcome, player 2.
Welcome, player.
Welcome.
You want to turn that up a little bit? Wait, are we at
It's on
level
5.
6? Oh, we got to go 6?
Oh.
Got to go to 6.
6 is the magic number.
If you would like more Oktoberfest volume, please let us know. I'm not sure how well the volume of an Oktoberfest is carrying over.
Hey, maybe we just stream the live birth. It'll be fine.
Well, I think that's the goal at this point.
Yeah.
Is your wife completely opposed to a Twitch live birth streaming?
I will have to find out. Well,
I don't know. There's a potential for bits there for the stream, as like bits of placenta that could potentially be there too. So in all honesty, Bill, I would not bring this up to the wife. I would just stream it on the fly.
Yeah.
And let her know that you're just kind of taking pics for prosperity steak and prosperity steak.
It was funny because the other day we had friends over on Friday, and she saw Demo Man in the pinball repair room that I have, and she kind of looked at me like, "When did this show up?" I'm like, "I just stopped asking you to bring games in. I just started bringing them in when you're at work."
Lord Helmet says, "Let us know how her response goes. I'm sure it'll be great."
I should probably record that for everyone's audio enjoyment. My misery.
Dave says, "I'd like to officially vote against the Webchild Twitch stream." Hey, nobody's done. We're trying to be pioneers of Twitch streaming.
We are innovative.
We can't be Buffalo Pinball, right? We can't be Jack Danger. We can't be TurboGrafx 7, which is Ryan Kuiper.
No.
We have to be Special When Lit Pinball Podcast, Flip N Out Pinball. So where you can see the newest streams of pinball machines, you can see the newest babies being streamed as they come out of the action zone with the alligator clipped curtains that will have the on the contractions UV glow. I mean, I don't know how much better it gets than that. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So we'll let everybody know what happens.
The only way it gets better is if we build the mini crib that looks like a pinball machine.
If you Twitch are getting your foot stuck inside a bill, then I would say you'd be a Twitch game.
Wait, I couldn't understand you because of the laughing.
Yeah, you don't want to. I think there was a foot up your ass comment that just had taken place there. So, if that could be streamed, you would be the king, Bill.
Oh, my wife's got no problem calling me out in public. But the thing is my wife, so she's actually a English teacher, and she doesn't really like the swearing, but she gets more mad at things like if I were to say Ken or me and Ken instead of Ken and I. So it's nothing but pronunciation.
Me and you, or you and I.
Yeah, she's a interesting character with
well, because she's an English teacher.
Yeah.
Sorry. you're silent. Listen. Because I'm not, I don't speak as articulate as I should be speaking, and it's not that I'm illiterate. It's just that I'm lazy about enunciating things and speaking properly.
Oh no, see, I'm illiterate, so it works out great.
You're not illiterate.
I can read a tape measure, but that's about it. And picture books. Where's Waldo? That's a good thing for me.
Oh, picture books.
Yeah, no. But in all honesty, no, we won't be streaming child births or anything. We just hope for a healthy child. And
so wait, with all seriousness, no. Let's do. Hold on. I'm gonna take my ball safe. Is there any chance of us streaming the birth of the baby live from Expo, or
No.
is that like?
No.
Is it 100% no? Or
that's
pretty
a
sure?
hard no, because you're not supposed to bring a child out for 10 days after they're born anyway.
Unless it comes out at Expo, then I don't think it's supposed to leave Expo for 10 days, in which case you can go to Expo for 4 days because of the health risk to the baby. I mean, I'm just thinking ahead of how you can manipulate the system here a little bit.
Actually, I have to respond to this. Actually, she doesn't send me back love letters corrected. She sends me back text messages grammatically corrected and goes into Paint or whatever program and highlights in red Paint
She's
where my errors are.
Text messages in Paint?
Oh, yeah, dude. She'll go ahead and...
In Microsoft Paint?
Or not Paint. Whatever that stuff is. Whatever app that is where you can go in there and whatever.
It's like,
rather see Baby Web stream than a Popeye stream. Dave, I don't disagree with you,
me
man.
Too.
That's still another topic of debate from last week. Popeye versus Demo Man. Which, Dave, I actually got my Popeye, my Demo Man up and running last night around 2 o'clock in the morning
Very,
after a
very
few
nice.
drinks.
Very, very nice.
So,
I'll tell you this, Bill. After playing one-handed a couple games, I feel very liberated in...
oh, dude, yeah.
I feel like a competitive pinball player. Like I can manipulate things as I'm chasing 170,000 points.
Well, dude, was
Like,
it?
watch how I backhand this with ease.
I was waiting for you to miss it. No,
Me too. Me too.
You know, when you say something,
I was like, oh,
you
here
know,
we go.
It's one of those hold my beer situations.
Right.
Yeah, the grammar police are definitely in full effect at the Webb House.
What's more in effect, the grammar police at the Webb House or the price police on Facebook?
Listen, though. All right, so the thing about the price police, man, is sometimes they have a point. Everyone, please listen to tomorrow's episode to listen to a rant about a couple of things. You know, prime example, dude. It's a $67,000 Twilight Zone.
It's interesting doing this with two, because the first time we had done this, it was with four with Josh, right?
Yeah.
And then the second time was with Steve. So we had Josh Kugler in studio for the first stream. Then we went solo with Steve Beatty on the second stream, so we had 3. And now we're at 2, so it's a little bit different dynamic. So I apologize. Let's see what we have going on in chat. Let's do a little chat update. Falgren says, as we're picking up on the last story, he would rather see Popeye stream than a Baby Web. His brother and sister-in-laws are editors for a publishing company, and he doesn't talk to them much. Fair enough.
Player 2.
Dave said, price belief have chilled out. Either that or I blocked all of them. Yeah, you probably blocked them all.
Yeah.
Because I think the price police are pretty prevalent. That being said, let's light up this Oktoberfest, because we're 22 minutes away from the after hours party. And the after hours party, for those of you that have been here and have watched Oktoberfest being streamed, that's when things get a little bit nitty gritty and down to the action, and it's no holds barred. Put your kids to sleep. Put your significant other to sleep, and then come join us in the after hours party.
In the words
That was
of
kinda
Jay-Z, after the party, it's the hotel lobby. Thanks, Lord Helmet. Thanks for joining us. Hey, listen, dude.
Is he out? Is he gone?
Yeah, he's got to hit the sack.
Thank you for chiming in, man. That's good times.
Dude, in all honesty, man, this is about the time I'm winding down for bed. So
What?
jealous.
Are you going to bed, Bill?
No, not yet, dude. I don't think that would make for good content.
We could stream the bedtime.
We could.
I still love the potential flasher implementation on the contractions. I think there's something there to that, and I think that's pretty fun.
I think.
Dave says the show gets a little blue after 9. Krusty the Clown. It does. It's all right. So after 9, it's like literally, it's like ask everybody anything, right? So like you can ask me something, and I will be truthful about it. You can ask Bill something, and he will be truthful about it. But you guys all kind of know who you are in chat. Ask general questions, and let's chime in and see what's going on. But we would like to try to keep it as pinball based as possible. That being said, the outside element of everyday life does not deter us from conquering or approaching those subjects. So that's good. A little disappointed to not see the banter between a Zach Meny from Flip N Out Pinball and a Dennis Kriesel of Eclectic Gamers podcast in chat tonight. But I'm sad not to see Lloyd Olson from SS Family Billiards in chat tonight. But I will say this: I'm very happy to see the. You all right there? What are you doing? Oh, you're filling up at the tap there. Happy to see the guys from Loser Kid Pinball Podcast in chat. I'm super happy to see Moto Arcade here in the chat. And I think this is just one of those opportunities where you don't know who's going to be stopping in and stopping out. But thank you, everybody, for stopping in.
This is like the cheers of Twitch. Everybody knows your name, it seems like.
Everybody knows your name, right? And that's fun. I like that. There's nothing better than like going to your favorite place, whether it be like a watering hole or a restaurant. You know, whenever you go in there, you're gonna know one or two people in there, and you're gonna know the staff, and that's gonna be this stream on Monday nights. When you come in, you're always gonna know somebody that's in there, and that person's already had an interaction with you. And unless they really turned you off, you'll keep coming back, right? So let's just keep doing it. It's fun times. Norm, as Pin Rule says. Pin's Rule. Norm. I love Norm.
Where everybody knows your name. Oh shit.
So was there a general consensus on our last question? Well, we got the general consensus. It seems like a lot of people want to hear the news on Pinball Podcast. Would you agree, Bill? News is kind of
I
it.
agree, but what news is there right now?
What's interesting, because when news hits, it's nice to be able to... I know, I've done that. To visit your pinball podcast that you like to listen to and hear the reflections on all those people. But when news is light, it's not fun to go listen to everybody talk about the same thing that's light. It's just not fun.
Which I think we don't do. Which I think we do a good job of not covering what everybody else is covering.
Well, that's out of habit, because you can't cover everything that TWIP does.
Yeah, you know, when we come up with the repair tips, and I don't really have a whole lot of them lately, but let me rephrase that. A lot of the ones that I'd have right now, I don't think would apply to most people with some of the stuff I've been doing. But yeah, dude, we definitely love sharing that stuff. Dumbest things. Dude, dumbest things is trying not to crack your Demo Man ramps when you're putting the wire forms in on the left side. No, I didn't do that, but I was thought I'd have a few drinks yesterday and decided to finish up the last of the assembly on those ramps in the cluster of ramps on Demo Man, and thankfully I didn't crack nothing while I did that. So yeah, we got to get some cheers music going on the background of this stream at some point.
That's what we need. We need more production value on the stream.
Dave, it took me like an hour to get all the ramps in, and I was half inebriated, so no big deal.
I got a lot of making up to do here on Ball 3.
Pins Roll, thanks, man. That's actually a funny thing. His friend upgraded his Munsters Premium with Pro Code, and it took him a while to realize the lower playfield wasn't working.
Oh.
But actually, that's kind of cool, man, because then you could play the Premium as if it were a Pro, and I think that'd be a pretty cool touch.
I think you can do that anyways in setting. You can take your Premium and deactivate that lower playfield.
Well, I had a sail filled with wind till Ken just sucked it out.
Oh, sorry about that.
Thank you very much, Ken.
Hey, good thing we're not streaming Munsters next. Or are we?
Dun, dun, dun. Thought we were covering Cactus Jacks next. Yeah, we try and cover it all, man, especially some of the stuff that's more prevalent.
Let's serve some customers.
All right, yeah, let's see what Ken does here.
Fair enough. Let's do it.
All right, so to move the guy, use your two flippers, and fill the cup. You have to use your bottom flipper on the right side, and you have to hold that down
till values go down as they don't get served. So that kind of. Like that 420 guy is pretty pissed off.
Yeah, well, he's a recovering alcoholic.
A lot of those.
Zach, dude, don't love, but I think I got to disagree with you, man. Maybe it's just because I didn't play a proper Popeye, but still. See, I'd rather take a non-working Pinbot than a working Popeye. Unless I was parting it out to make a game, but I don't see that happening. Hey, man, it's all fun and love when it comes to pinball. Everyone's got their own opinion. Some people just don't need to have an opinion. All right, so what's everyone's top hated game? If there was a question I was going to ask this evening.
What's the question?
What if you were to list your absolute hatred for a game the most, like if, you know, it's either have this pinball machine or have nothing at all, what would it be? because I think there's a lot of redeeming qualities on most pinball machines, especially in a group setting, dude, when you're hanging out with your buddies and having drinks. But there are those ones that you could have all your buddies in the world and all the beverages in the world and be completely inebriated, and it does nothing for it. El Toro, that's interesting. Street Fighter 20 or Street Fighter 2, Stern Rolling Stones. I've never played the Rolling Stones, but I was curious to try that one day. But now that might have been spoiled. Just a bit outside. All right, Ken's got to check out the porcelain filing room of the Flip N Out Studios here. Spanish Eyes. Okay, that's one I've never seen, actually, but wouldn't mind giving that a try. A lot of these seem like the older games, though. See, I heard Waterworld was actually a pretty good game. Stern Spider-Man. Wow. You know what? That seemed like a pretty simple game, though. I played that one. I don't know. I think for me, mine would probably be F-14 out of all games. You know, Popeye isn't that terrible. I just didn't enjoy it as much as other games. Yeah, I think there's more of a cult following on the Waterworld, Dave, in all honesty. Because I've heard some people say that that's a very underrated game. But, you know, such is everyone's opinion. So, yeah, but I still think mine would probably be the F-14. Just not a lot going on it.
I forgot the whole night. I forgot to wear my Oktoberfest hat in like commemoration of having this very awesome pin in the Special One Lit Pinball Podcast Studios. So,
and that's yours. You didn't borrow that from Nermal.
No, I have not borrowed hats from Nermal. Nermal's the sales and marketing manager at American Pinball. You'll see him coming up there right now on the back glass. Sales and marketing, Nermal. Nermal was on our Special One Lit Pinball podcast, so that was pretty fun. So.
Yeah, it was like episode 30 or something, 20.
Yeah, I don't know,
something like that.
Yeah, so it was good. It was good. What time we got here? 8:49.
8:49.
I think we got another game or two in, and then we're gonna go to that Flip N Out Pinball after hours party, right?
Yep.
Are you up for the Flip N Out Pinball after hours party?
We will party for a quality 15 to 20 minutes, and then this homeboy's got to go home.
I will say this, man. I've had a pretty exciting day with just consuming beverages.
Yeah.
I might go as late as somebody's in chat tonight.
Hey, I like it, man.
I potentially could be doing that. So
I just say leave the cameras on at that point.
I could do the Jack Danger fall asleep and roll under the pinball machine and leave the stream live.
He does have the lucky feather.
And then
there is a feather
the machine like 7 hours later.
There is a feather on top of the hat. Yeah, F-14 unfollowed me too. So totally agree with you there. That was the first game that somebody actually gave to me, and yeah, that one went under. All right, you want to jump back on and I'll start us off?
Yeah, you ready?
Keep the same order?
Yeah, let's do it.
Welcome, player 2.
Good times. Yeah, we'll see if this is my lucky hat. So if I blow the game up with like 15 million and complete all the modes, I will put this hat in the coin door for whoever actually purchases this game as a very lightly used demo game. Less than 100 plays. Right? Oh. Pins Rule wants to know, are you doing a 50-50 tonight or no?
No.
Corona?
Work at 4:30 in the morning, man. I did 50-50s last night, so yeah, no, we're out on 50-50s.
There is a feather on this hat.
I said there was a feather.
So I'm drinking for 2 tonight, just like Bill's wife's eating for 2.
Yes.
So maybe I should have pin stadiums connected to me at Expo.
I don't want to be around for that.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, we'll see.
I will be out on that.
We'll see what happens.
I don't know if we're doing a shirt right now, guys. No, I know 45, 55 either, but I love your creativity. No, I did some 50-50s last night, and I was working on a game late, so.
Explain the 50-50s for those that don't remember what those are in chat.
50-50 is a half rum, half Pepsi drink that I like to have. You've been around for the 50/50s. We did it at Steve's house for the stream for right before Wonka.
We don't condone alcohol consumption, but if you're a responsible adult and you need to relax, have at it. Right? No? I gotta hit these questions.
Drink responsibly, my friends.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Slap Save does win a shirt every contest, it seems. Hey, he could have went 60-60. That'd have been like a drink and a quarter. Zoner, so are you on? Are you in on the Popeyes or are you out on the Popeyes? Oh!
I will take that.
That was a good one, man.
Thank you. I've been practicing that one all week, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, man. Sad to see this game go, though. So hopefully it goes to a good home.
I am too, because it's so fun. Like I wonder, it's like when we get the next game in here, will it be as fun to like play and take turns on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so like this game lends itself well to multiplayer.
It does.
So I hope that whatever comes in next, whatever Zach brings in next, is actually as fun. So what's everybody looking forward to pinball wise? So we've got Wonka that's supposed to be shipping in June. What's after Wonka? What do we have next? What does everybody want to see? I think Stern's due for a release, right, Bill? Probably July, August.
Yeah. No, I'd say June.
No,
Dude, I'd be willing to make a wager on that.
June. Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah. Absolutely.
What do you think Stern's going to be releasing?
Well, what are the rumors?
Well, that's why you're here, man. Like, discuss the rumors, like
yeah,
what
but I
you've
don't
heard.
wanna-
You're an insider. You're a pinball insider. You're supposed to know what's going
I'm
on.
not going to give away somebody's.
You just shocked me with your June release. I wasn't expecting anything for another month or two after.
Okay, out of public statements that Stern has said, they said that they're going to release more games this year than they ever have, right? Is that you're following me so far, right?
No, Stern said they're going to release more games than they ever have, or are we
This
talking
year.
about Deep Root?
No, we're talking about Stern has also said that as well. Or
I
let me
don't recall
rephrase
that.
this. Let me rephrase this.
Okay.
I have heard from people that are close to Stern say that.
Oh, you heard it here on the Flip N Out Pinball streaming channel that Bill has heard people from Stern. No?
Yes.
That say that they're going to release more games this year than they've released ever.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're behind right now, though.
I think they are slightly behind, which means we're overdue for some games.
So, right. So what's coming?
I'm not sure.
Do you see a Vault Edition coming this year? Oh, I hit a ball save. Hit a skill shot there.
Yeah, because Swords of Rage came out in April, right?
Sword of Rage.
Or was that March?
So what do we have? We had Monsters, right? January.
Monsters in January.
February, March, April. You have Sword of Rage. So that leads me to believe that May, June, July, we would now have the next release.
Yeah, sorry, guys. I'm going to look it up. All right, Penn Stadium. We are 8 weeks since the last Stern. So I would say, honestly, in the next month, we'd have to have a new game.
What?
Yeah. No, I don't think the reskins of Batman cover is another one. That's not like a
The
a Vault
Batman
edition.
reskin is not a new game.
And it's not the Holly Berry edition. So, I mean, what do you have there?
Halle Berry was still not even considered in 1966, bro. She was like that would have been a Penn Stadium burger.
There's that negativity we've been talking about, Ken.
Right. Yeah, I don't know that Flippin' Out Pinball is a distributor for Home Pin and Thunderbirds. I'm not sure if that's happening. Dave says, I think the Monsters and Batman reskins might count as too new. I would disagree with that. I think that's just capitalizing on titles that are still there for purchase. Rorden's in the house. Rorden Osborne is our buddy from Australia, and he's coming to Expo this year. We couldn't be more happy. Raw dog, as Zach from Flip N Out Pinball says. Rorden, thanks for coming in, man. Thanks for joining chat. Dave Falgren says, Halle Berry was great in Wick 3. I cannot wait to see Wick 3. I just saw today that Wick 4 is scheduled for 2021. So they have plans for Wick 4. Bazzy34 says, confirmed from Florida Stern sources as above. Moto Arcade at Tiki Pinball. Yes, that would be awesome too. Rorden's like, good day, Zach. Hey, boys. Let's get the Vegemite out. Let's do some Vegemite shots. Let's do this.
Oh, man, Rorden's an animal.
Pinsrule says, another Aussie to bring some class to the stream. I gotta say, I've become very fond of the Aussies. So it's very cool.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Rorden. Thanks, Rorden, for coming in, man. Good times. Penn Stadium is welcoming Rorden as well. Rorden's a little celebrity in pinball. I love it.
Rorden's more famous than we are.
I agree. Rorden is more famous than us. I'm glad that he allows us to associate with him. It's very cool times. We really got to know him at TPF, so that was a good time. And Rorden's in the house. He's having a little lunch break because in Australia.
Oh, is it lunchtime out there?
Right. 8:58 p.m. is Australian for lunch.
So is it Tuesday or
no,
Monday out there?
It's like June in Australia.
It's like June in Australia?
It's like way out there.
I like
it's pretty messed up.
So he already knows what the next Stern title is, so ask him.
Well, you can't ask that. The unfortunate thing about Australia is they get the Stern titles probably like later than everybody else, I think. So you're doing one-handed mode right now.
I am in one-handed
on this
mode
right now, which is nice. So even during normal gameplay, one-handed mode. And this is where a lot of people are probably like, hey, the left flipper is not working. But Bill Webb, as a pinball aficionado, knew that he'd had to go one flipper mode on that. Nicely done, Bill.
We tried. Yeah.
All right. Good times.
Only got a couple balls left on this stream, man.
Yeah. So I think after this game, this is ball 3. I think this is going to be last ball, guys. So listen, this is what we're going to do. Last ball, we're going to end this game. We're going to cut for like a 10-second timeout. We're going to get ourselves situated. And then everybody's favorite part of, well, not favorite part, but everybody's anticipated part of the stream is the Flip N Out Pinball After Hours, right?
Yep.
That's where...
I'm not yawning.
You can tell Bill's excited.
Hey,
So-
listen, 50-50s did me in yesterday. I almost jacked injured and fell asleep under the machine that I was working on. Yeah, Rorden, dude, I think I told you before
Good for multi-ball.
that, dude, my wife is due around Expo, man. So you might be coming to Casa del Web to hang out for a night while we're holding the baby.
Casa, is that like Casa Benito on South Park?
Frankly, I have no
Casa
idea what you're
Benito?
talking about.
Really? You don't have any Casa Benito?
No.
Get out of there!
Just a little cabinet splitting.
Oh my gosh.
Woo.
I just got a cramp in my wrist.
And the spirit of Beatty is still here.
Yeah, right. Hey. For somebody that doesn't like to nudge, that took a lot of effort, actually. Proust! All right, so we got the... Hit the Proust
got the
targets.
lock.
Lock's lit here. So let's see how we're going to set that up. I'm going to try to complete the orbit. I got hung up over there. Yeah. See if it comes out of the pops and I can hit that.
Hey, Rorden, if you show
There
up
we
on
go.
Monday, man, dude, you can be in on the live stream, brother. If
Easy
I'm not in
cheesy.
the hospital. Actually, you could be my fill-in
Easy peasy.
for that. Don't crack the cab, Chris says.
No, Chris. I'm taking very good care of this cab.
Absolutely, man. It was only on 2 legs for just a second. Nice, Rorden. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to Expo if I can actually make it or get out or, you know, last resort is just let the wife sleep while I got everybody downstairs in the basement playing pinball, talking smack. So, maybe we'll stream that night. I don't know. If I'm at the house, it just depends on when the baby's due. So I'll be sleep deprived and up all hours anyway, so it's not really going to matter. Ken's going after it on
I was
this
waiting
game.
to get some control there.
Oh, you got it now. You're controlling 2 balls well.
Right. Timeout this
You could do this all night.
You know what? That really?
It saved. It gave you another one.
Oh, I'm back. Hey, it's Ken from Special One Lit Pinball Podcast. I was demonstrating nice control there, and then that was pretty horrible. Sorry about that.
We're at Ken's house. We'll stream from my house pretty soon, though. And then the clips, I don't know. We'll have to ask Ken here in a second if it works.
Sang before me.
Oh, Ken's drank a lot of Steins before you this evening.
I don't play Oktoberfest without breaking in some Steins. And what I would like to do right now, actually, is play Oktoberfest like that.
A little blind action.
Right.
Hey, you laugh, but I might be able to shoot better like that.
I have no idea.
Dude,
I
I'm
can't
used
see
to
the
playing
ball.
pinball with my daughter on the glass like that. From when she was like a year old. She'd just sit there and watch the ball go all over.
All right, that was weird because I thought I had something going. What's that?
Yeah, this game moved a little bit this evening.
That player two
Damn,
again.
dude, you got three times tonight, huh? Absolutely, dude. That's the best. Zach, I bet you Churchill still makes these cabinets for American Pinball. If I were to take a guess at it.
No, Churchill, really?
Yeah,
You think?
I'd guess. Dude, they're like the cabinet people. Well, dude, it's like Jerry from Multimorphic not selling his boards to American Pinball. Why wouldn't you do that? Or the other companies that are using it. You know.
Sorry for the noise here.
So we are in the official after hours. Here, how about I move over here?
some business over there, or are you pretty good?
No, I'm gonna hang for another 20 or so, and then we're gonna.
I do want to say this. I want to thank everybody for hanging out before we go into the official after hours. We've got some business to take care of, and that is thanking Flip N Out Pinball for allowing Ken and Bill from the Special One Lit Pinball Podcast to stream these great games out of the Special One Lit Pinball Podcast
Absolutely.
studio.
Thanks, Zach and Nicole,
Right. So please go to Flip N Out Pinball.
for your next purchase.
If you have a purchase, if you have a pinball machine, if you want to get an Oktoberfest or anything else that's new and coming out, you need to visit Flip N Out Pinball. You need to go to Zach at flippandoutpinball.com. Now, Zach is spelled Z-A-C-H, and that's followed by at flip, the letter N, outpinball.com. Look to the left of your screen. You can see that. Just as you can see the number, 847-778-4876. The difference is when you call or text that number, you're going to get a response right back. And
Absolutely.
it's not from somebody from out of the country trying to do customer service. You know who it's from?
Zach?
It's from Zach. So that's cool. So, Zach, thank you very much. Personally, my favorite distributor, and
Absolutely.
you know, I'm a little biased right now, but before we even got into the situation, we were backing Zach. So
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
always
good dude.
good times.
And honestly, we like to back anyone that has good product or great customer service. I mean, there's companies that don't sponsor us that I've made sure to mention on the podcast just because of how wonderful their customer service was. And we didn't get a thing out of that.
Well, it's like there's three things that you look for, right? When you're buying a product, it's like the quality, the price,
And the customer
then, like,
service.
the service. And normally you settle for 2 out of the 3. If you can get price and customer service, but the quality is bad,
You turn a cheek
just,
on the others.
Right, you just do. But with Flipping Out Pinball, honestly, guys,
You don't have to turn
listen,
a cheek.
You don't. You're getting all 3. Let's rock it out. I'm not going to expand on this because, again, if you're here and you're watching, it's because you're already in support of this business and Zach and his wife and how they are, advocates for pinball and the expansion of pinball. So I
What
don't
a great
need to
job
get
they
into
do.
that. But yes, but thank you. We're humbled to have the opportunity to do this.
Very humbled.
And before we get into the after hours, you need to step out there for a second there.
No,
and
we'll
take
just
care of
keep
some
going,
business.
man.
Let's get into the little after hours party. And what we're going to do right now is we are going to. I'm going to take the.
official hat off.
the official hat off there a little bit. And then let's go ahead and let's play Ask Ken and Bill Anything. So for those of you that don't know who we are, I'm Ken. He is
I'm Bill.
We host the Special When Lit Pinball podcast out of Chicago, Illinois, and we have been given the opportunity to stream this newest pinball games for Flip N Out Pinball. Every Monday night, we've got a lot of pinball podcast personalities that come in and they talk to people that are enthusiasts about pinball. And right now, the game, Oktoberfest, we play taps out. It's the last time we're going to stream it. Thank you, Oktoberfest.
Thank you.
It's been fun.
Good service.
This might be going to St. Louis. We don't know. But it was fun playing Oktoberfest. You can ask questions about Oktoberfest. You can ask questions about Bill's baby coming.
Pinside, yeah.
You're going to ask questions about whatever it takes. So that's good times. I've got a text coming in on the Special When Lit Pinball Podcast text line. And, yeah. I'm going to answer that, and let's open it up.
Not sure what side of St. Louis it would be going to, though.
Yeah. So let's go into chat right now, and I think chat's important to and this is going to be real sensitive, so you probably want to go right there. That microphone's extra hot because
So I've been blasting everybody's ears out.
You're good. Rorden says, "Can I ask you to put mirror blades behind Pin Stadium lights?" I have put mirror blades behind Pin Stadium lights, and it looks badass. And that's not me being an advocate for Pin Stadium. That's just legitimately I've done that before, and it looks sick.
You had that on your Attack from Mars.
Yes,
and it
was
outstanding.
Unbelievable. The mirror blades, like they offer an expansion of the play field, and then the actual Pin Stadium lights. It's awesome. Hold on, I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. We have Eclectic Gamer. So Dennis Kriesel is here now. Dennis Kriesel is the new co-host on a every other week basis at This Week in Pinball podcast with Zach Meny, and Dennis was on this last current week. And,
had some great one-liners. Dennis loved them.
Dennis
I was rolling over today.
I'm loving some Dennis Kriesel, and he says whenever I mention flipping out, I'm only paid back in grief, and that is absolutely true.
And headaches. I mean, I'm sure you get the headaches too out of it, and gray hair.
So what I will do is instead of waiting for somebody to ask questions in chat, I will ask the chatters, the viewers.
Absolutely, man.
And I'm gonna do this. So I'll ask a question, and you get like literally a one-word response, and let's just see where everybody stands. Zach says he loves his little cowboy Kriesel, and that is absolutely Dennis.
Yep.
All right. So let's play. I'll ask a question. You ask a question.
All right.
Your guilty pleasure game that you think nobody else likes.
So it's like the community bicycle that you don't want people to catch you riding kind of game is what you're going at here, right, Ken?
Right. So I'll start off. For me, it's X-Files. Like nobody likes X-Files. I like X-Files.
I think that's got a cult following, but
Rorden says Thunderbirds, and Rorden, I think you just kind of took the whole cake right there.
yeah. We were going to drop that question and forget that we even brought it up now.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Question 2.
On the Bills
Doesn't get worse than that. No, and I can't comment on Thunderbirds as Rorden can, because I mean he's had a Thunderbirds and he's a proponent for Thunderbirds. There is a select few amount of people that are really backing Thunderbirds. I think where Thunderbirds loses a lot of its luster is just Mike from Home Pin being very vocal about things that aren't politically correct. Now, if you look at current podcasts and you look at people that are saying, well, stop being such a wuss and grow some balls and stop being so offended. Are the Home Pin remarks offensive like in the mainstream, or is it just offensive to those that are, a little bit of a candy ass on offensive remarks?
I think it's a little bit more than just a candy ass thing, but that's just me.
Okay.
And you know what? Here, I mean, the other part is you can't really judge a game per se by one person. I mean, if that's the case, then I mean, there's a lot of John Trudeau games that people should be walking out to the curb and burning, and that's kind of negating everything that all the other people put into those games, in my eyes, if that makes sense.
No, it does. Zach says His guilty pleasure is Spooky Pinball's America's Most Haunted. Bill, how many games do you have on America's Most Haunted?
I got about 12 or 15.
Favorite
I
game of
played
all
it.
time? You like it?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm struggling for the words here. I
think
thought
most
it was
people
cool.
are.
I think it was cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't, in the top 5 or 10 for me, but I definitely think it was cool. One person chimed in, and I don't see where it's at, but they mentioned Ripley's. Ripley's is another one that I'd like to get at some point. When people aren't
You know who
asking
loves
for
Ripley's?
$1,000.
Is Terry at Pinball Life says Ripley's of all the current Sterns pre-LCD is like one of the biggest bangs for your buck. In full disclosure, like Terry was one of the guys that turned us on to Baywatch. I skipped past Baywatch because the theme was so hokey, and then getting an opportunity to play on a Baywatch has been unbelievable. I'm telling you what, market trends, whatever it is, Baywatch should be going up because when we were looking at Baywatches, they were $1,200-$1,300, right? $1,500.
No, they were like $2,000 for a nice one.
$1,700.
2 for a nice
All
one.
right.
But
Now they're in the 3s, the 35s, and again, it was never a show that I watched, but it's a Joe Balser layout that I completely appreciate.
And
I
it
see some of
flows
those
well.
elements here in
Yeah.
Oktoberfest.
Yeah, it flows well.
Absolutely.
Dude, it's simple enough to understand. You can explain it to somebody in minutes. So,
Well, I mean, a lot of games you can explain in minutes, but it's as you kind of get involved and envelop into a game where you realize the subtle nuances and the little ways that you can unlock a game. And I think that's important for pinball. You can't see everything on your first game.
yeah.
And unfortunately, I think that's where Munsters kind of gets a little bit of a bad rep because you will see a lot of the game as far as the modes. And gameplay. Just as
And
you
they
would
get
on like a
repetitive.
Scared Stiff or something from prior. But it's like, I think right now people that are collecting these games, not so much on location, but in the home, they want something that's going to be a little bit more deep. And you look at like Jersey Jack Pinball, right? Like Pirates of the Caribbean, Eric Minier's game. I mean, that's so deep. Wizard of Oz.
You'll never beat it.
I've been focusing so much on these Jersey Jack games lately because the code just gets so deep and so deep and so deep. It's nice to see that games are not abandoned. And again, we were talking about Stern Pinball. They've hired additional staff where you're seeing a lot of more frequent code updates
Yeah.
out of Stern. But as a homeowner, knowing that your game's going to be updated with something new, and you may not have seen everything that's already happening in your game, it's exciting times to be able to do that.
It is, but I mean, you're also talking about 2 different eras, I mean, most of the 90s games, dude, they were just deep enough that a skilled player could make it to the wizard mode in the arcade. I mean, within reason. Star Trek Next Gen might be an exception, and there might be a few exceptions to that rule, but a lot of those were they were coded deep enough to keep catching your quarters, and if they weren't, then people would just turn up the difficulty level on it. Where today's games, I mean, the primary environment is the home environment. So, it's funny how people complain about code on, Munsters, per se, and yet you ask them what's in their game room, dude, and they've got 6 Williams games where the code's not so
Yeah,
deep. So that's kind of
yeah.
the hypocritical part there. Not that that's a bad thing. It's just, a different time.
Yeah, right. I don't think it's hypocritical. It's just time era expectant. Like you don't expect those games from the like late 80s, like the System 11s all the way up to the WPC 95s. Like you don't expect them to be as deep as the current games. And I think what the problem is, if you're going to pay current prices for a game, you need to get current experience or current code or current layout.
Yeah.
Like you can't pay current prices and then retro back to something where some people might think that the code is retro.
Is
At
lagging.
that point, yeah. And I think we can both speak that like just because the code might not be as deep doesn't mean that there's any more or less work that goes into that code because you still are coding a pinball game.
See, in all honesty, man, I really still want a Munsters at some point. So I know that's on my my watch list. I got to get through the next couple weeks and get some stuff done around the house, and then honestly, I'm gonna probably either put my Transformers up for sale or for trade for either a Munsters Pro or a Ghostbusters Pro. Both of those I really really like.
What about like maybe a $10,000 Gilligan's Island?
No, because it's not expensive enough. I need a $10,800 Gilligan's Island.
Let's catch up on chat. Zach from Flip N Out Pinball says Baywatch Snooze Fest, but yes, trending up in this week. Baywatch has been trending up for like a year and a half. Warden says Baywatch is a great game of customer mind change the backlash with just Pamela Anderson. I mean, it is what it is. Last Action Hero is fun, according to Dennis at Eclectic Gamers. Godzilla's damn good, says Zach Flipping Out.
Really? Okay.
Rorden says King of Monsters is next. Flipping Out Pinball. I've heard Sopranos is underrated, but I haven't had enough time on one. That's another game that I want to get in on. I think a lot of people
Sopranos
shied away from Sopranos and from World Porker Tour. That's like the Leisure
Well, that's the
Suit Larry.
alternate translate.
World Porker Tour.
That's the alternate translate.
Right. Leisure Suit Larry and the World Porker Tour. World Porker Tour.
That has the fleshlight mod on the coin door.
Heyo!
Keeping it real.
With the UV glow. Scott said he played Sopranos for the first time at Louisville this year, and that was the only time he'd ever seen one. Dave said he played Sopranos.
Some mode is
There's
great.
a mode that's great. Cactus Canyon's interesting. I'd like to see the complete. I would like to own a Cactus Canyon continued.
That would probably be, if for going for CGC games, that'd probably be the one that I'd be in.
Well,
on.
the thing with CGC is they'll be able to remake Cactus Canyon, and they will probably expand on the code, but it won't be the Cactus Canyon continued code that Eric Pripke has done. So what at the end of the day is going to be worth more money? Is it an original Cactus Canyon with the continued code that Eric Pripke did, or is it going to be the Cactus Canyon remake that potentially the original coder added code onto? So I don't know. We'll see. All right. Hey. And as we pause for station identification on the Flippin' Out streaming network.
Absolutely.
So interesting. I mean, the remakes are dynamic and they're polarizing because those games are coming. But when it comes to Cactus Canyon, you don't know exactly what's coming with the code. And I think that's going to make or break that release. It's going to make or break the original games as far as pricing.
It is, but you know what though? I mean, for somebody that's in the position that I'm in, that would be one that I wouldn't mind. If they're coming out with that game, that means a lot of those playfield parts and assemblies would be available, which means that you could get your own board set from a WPC 95 and build a Cactus Canyon. It's pretty easy. And do your...
Is it easy to build Cactus Canyons? I mean,
absolutely.
that game was
that's
98?
a 2-day ordeal.
Yeah, but what about all the plastics, the sculpts? I mean, you can do the underbelly, you can do the electronics, you can do the basic mechs, but what about everything
Wally
that's on top
found
of
all
the
that
playfield?
stuff. And if he didn't find it, he made it.
Though? For Scared Stiff.
And Cactus Canyon.
Oh, so he's already done a
Dude,
Cactus
Wally's
Canyon.
done a Cactus Canyon, Monster Bash, Scared Stiff, and Attack from Mars. And I think there's one more WPC 95 that he did at some point.
So Wally's a local guy that can take an NBA fast break, which is like a WPC 95S, right? Like security?
Yeah, no, WPC 95.
WPC 95.
Yeah, it's different.
And he can take that framework, tear that pin down, and then remake it into these sought-after games, which would be just as you said, Scared Stiff, Cactus Canyon. What else?
Medieval Madness. That was another one.
Okay.
So he's built like every cool WPC 95 on the planet. Built his own wiring harness, redone cabinets, and I mean, he's just a hero of mine. So, I wanted to scroll back up for a second if you can, Ken, because I saw somebody mention Transformers, but I don't see it now.
That's not going to happen. Oh, maybe I can. Let's go. As we scroll
Sorry,
in real
guys.
time, now we're good.
Lethal Weapon 3 is a good game, Dave. I like it.
Lethal Weapon
Ken
3
loves it.
sucks. Sucks, guys. The only thing that doesn't suck about Lethal Weapon 3 is the one that was at TPF that was redone.
Or when you
The
retheme
Murtaugh
it,
edition.
or when you retheme it into a Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, Beverly Hills Cop didn't. Amoto Arcade said Wally's hilarious. He said they're following his path. And I
Wally
think
is hilarious.
She interviewed Wally, so she knows exactly who Wally is. So Wally's got some notoriety in the pinball mainstream, as he should.
So, all right. So, Amoto, you're the woman that was doing the interviews for Marco then, right?
I don't know if she's doing interviews for Marco or not. She's got a Amoto Arcade, her own channel.
Okay, all right.
So she might have been conducting interviews in the Marco booth. With
Okay.
like the Marco background, but we'll let her comment on that. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, he did Monster Bash.
Yep, Monster Bash 2. Electric Gamer says, well, he's commenting on somebody else, so we'll let that go.
All right, somebody posted something about Transformers. I saw it. So, Repost because I can't see it. I know it was in there, but I just don't see it now.
It was probably somebody that said, you know what? I've been looking for a Transformers that's going to be redone, but it has to have gone through a hurricane.
I have one of those too.
And if
I
that's the
have
case,
too.
Bill, guess what? I mean,
We're in
you are in
business.
luck. At TPF, and next is Southern Fried Game
Okay.
Expo.
All right. Yeah. I seen that video with Wally. That was one of that was the first one you posted. That was a great video. Yeah. You know what? I mean, dude, these old guys. Well, I hate saying it this way, but these people that bring innovative stuff and keep games alive, like Wally, and pull these crazy builds off. I mean, how do you go wrong with that? I know that they're upside down when they build these games, but you're doing something that's very difficult to do. That's not for the masses. So I have nothing but love for that.
Yeah. And Emoto Arcade, she says that they have interviews that are posting every Friday on Marco's pages. So do yourself a favor. Do two things. One, go to Facebook and look up Emoto Arcade.
Yep.
And, follow that channel because you're going to be able to see those posts in real time. And then go to Marco Specialties. And, Marco is a heavy hitter as far as parts in the pinball industry. You're going to be able to get a lot of parts there. So you know how to kind of search for them. And that's good times. So, as far as like dark horses, Baywatch, America's Most Haunted, X-Files for me, those are the dark horses. What about the most overrated pins of all time? Like, now we hear people like, oh, Twilight Zone sucks, da da da. But let's think outside of the box.
I'm glad you came to that realization.
I love Twilight
I'm
Zone.
kidding.
Like, it's one of my favorite
was a
pins of all
joke.
time.
It was just a joke.
I'm just saying. But and we don't need to stay on the best or worst thing. If you need to ask me, in what year I had my first beer, I'm happy to talk about that too. But we can get as personal as we want to make it. But as this is a pinball stream, right?
I do have to ask one question.
Go, please.
So, anyone in chat ever played a Maverick, a decent Maverick, and what were your thoughts? Because that's another Sega big DMD pin that I would like to maybe try and get one day. I don't know if it's worth it. I think part of it is that it's just such a crummy brown. It'll blend in well with the taupe walls in the basement. But
Dennis says, how can we be outside the box and talk overrated? You know what? Outside the box for me is not outside the box for you. So hence my overrated may not be your overrated. So very simple to figure that out, Dennis.
Monster Bash.
Let me know what you want.
Dave says Monster Bash is overrated. It didn't pull me in as much as honestly Attack from Mars or Medieval Madness. It just, that's one game that just hasn't pulled me in. Not that it's a bad game. It just is not as fulfilling as seeing a castle blow up in my eyes. Overrated Tron. Dennis, okay, so I'm going to jump in here. I played a couple games on Tron at different points, and that was another one that just didn't, leave me walking away feeling fulfilled with Pinball Joy.
All right, me neither. I played Tron.
I played it at Pinball Life and at Tom's house.
I played it. Right.
Yeah.
I played it at another private place, and then when I fired it up, it felt so antiquated to me. It felt weird. It felt like just a real basic old school Sega machine.
And the artwork is just...
Yeah, and I'm so happy that it's such a sought after pin by most people because I just don't care to collect it.
Yeah.
But again, that's just my kind of thing. So, again, somebody thinking outside of the box wouldn't think that Tron is not everybody's awesome pin. I don't like Tron at all. I just don't like it.
It didn't pull me in. Honestly, one that I was really hoping that would pull me in was Batman: The Dark Knight, just because I love that movie. But that was another one that just didn't.
You're kind of getting into like these, like the old Stern, like Sega stuff, right? Like the big DMD XL stuff.
I would kind of like that stuff. Maverick was a interesting movie from back in the day. I watched it as a kid a few times. So, and I honestly collect more towards stuff that I used to have, or used to have memories with.
Right.
One of the games that's in my collection that I really don't remember as a kid was Getaway. I never played a Getaway as a kid, but I'll be darned if I don't love it now. So.
I'm looking at Chris's Slap Save Chris. He's like, Tron had it, sold it. I know a lot of people that had Trons and they sold it. Now, the other question is this: how long do you hang on to your Tron before Stern revolts or they vault that Tron edition? And I think you're already seeing Tron values kind of start creeping down because of the fear of the vault.
Yeah.
I think probably the two biggest potential vaults from Stern as we go forward, and we might have discussed this last week, would be like a Tron LE vault would be pretty huge.
Yep.
And then like a Lord of the Rings vault would be pretty huge. If they did vault those pins, and I know it's a long shot, I would love to see some type of LCD integration with some movie assets or something on the screen just to kind of bring it forward a little bit. Because as we see these newer pins now with these LCDs, you're starting to think of DMDs as like 80s, 90s, and it is antiquated, right? So are these vaults going to hold as much water when people are looking to get something that seems more in the modern era? There's always that collector that enjoys that retro kind of DMD era, just like there are those that prefer System 11s, just like those that prefer EMs. But as far as like sales, generating sales out of Stern, does it make more sense to go back to a DMD vault, or does it make more sense to take a DMD game and bring it into the LCD era? I mean, that could potentially be killer. Could you imagine Ghostbusters LCD'd out?
With a flipper gap fixed and code.
Even without the flipper
slightly
gap, that would be pretty awesome. It would be pretty awesome.
I think so too. Sorry, I got to catch reading up here, man. My eyes aren't the greatest.
I can bring this a little closer.
That's all right. It's on an angle, which is kind of funky.
Yeah, Tron Legacy would be almost impossible. Disney consumer product. See, this is the thing. Everything's almost impossible. When you think about licensing, I mean, and we just threw a poll up. Not even a poll, but just we threw a Beverly Hills Cop pin on our Facebook page.
Because we were talking about it on the podcast.
Right, would this be a fun thing or no? And we had so many serious answers. Well, if the licensing restricted Eddie Murphy from going on there, it could. It's like, just relax. Like, we're not in the pinball licensing thing, but that's where everybody's gone now. It's like you can't enjoy a pinball machine without dissecting its roots. You have to know what the assets are in the license. You have to know what the assets are as far as the music goes. You have to know exactly who's on the code and what their track record are. The artwork, who's on the artwork, what's their track record, what have they done, how does their art lend itself well to the theme? As somebody that's been following pinball, it's a stressful situation to evaluate like any release. Whereas like the casual fan that just looks forward to walking into a building and being like, oh, there's a Ghostbusters machine. It's such a different experience. I think we've put ourselves in these positions where
disappointment.
We've set ourselves up for failure on just about any release, and we're still holding back, waiting for that Grail pin, and I won't say Grail, for that Dream theme that's going to fire layout on all cylinders. Layout's got to be perfect. Theme's got to be perfect with all the assets.
Code's got to be what you want it to be.
Audio's got to be great with somebody that's experienced, that's got all the assets. Callouts has to be by somebody that narrates well and doesn't sound like they're out of place. It's such a stressful environment to enjoy a pinball machine, and it's like, I think at this point, instead of dissecting things, I just need to take it as a whole, like experiencing a pin as a whole, and not going so much as far as finding the faults on what potentially could ruin a pinball machine.
So, here was the thing I used to love as a kid, man. When, dude, I'd go to the corner down the street.
Bye, Zach.
From my house. Thanks, Zach. Dude, good times as always. I'd go down the street from my house to go play a game of Terminator, and, Terminator was gone. Adam's Family was in there. Dude, that was a pleasant surprise in learning that game. There was no disappointment there. Adams was gone. What was in its place? Twilight Zone. The place stopped earning money. Twilight Zone came out. What was that? Not 8-Ball Deluxe. Not Laser Q. Cue Ball Wizard. By Gottlieb came in.
Yeah.
That was an unpleasant surprise. But for the most part, I missed that of being a kid and going to those places and finding.
Well, that was the thing. You would walk into a place and you would just see something that was new. There was not a social media. There was not speculation on a pinball forum or an arcade forum. And that is, and again, that's the innocence of youth too. I mean, a lot of other things that I wish I didn't know were coming. And it doesn't just relate to pinball machines, but it's like, as adults now, what's the enjoyment in the hobby? I mean, is it just deconstructing everything that comes out and finding the faults? And it just can't be like that. You can't look at, for instance, and we talked about this then in the podcast, you can't take a look at Willy Wonka and finalize your opinion on what you think the code's going to be.
Yeah.
When it's like at a 0.65 or 0.66, it just doesn't make sense. If anything else, we know that Jersey Jack evolves these codes for years. We saw Hobbit hit 1.0 and then go through a
Transition.
huge transition. And whereas Hobbit might not be your favorite pinball machine from a layout perspective, from a code perspective, it absolutely made big changes. So for anybody to kind of judge Willy Wonka as a machine based on code and assets as it stands now, I think potentially is a mistake. Does it mean that you shouldn't put your dollars out there? Absolutely not. If you're not comfortable, I mean, let's be serious. If you're not comfortable on something because you're speculating on where something should go, there's no reason for you to go in and put your money down.
No, there's not.
But it doesn't mean that you should,
Crap all over something.
exactly. And I think that's kind of where I'm going with that. I mean, see where the pin ends up.
See,
before
another
you
thing
start doing anything.
I would love to see come back, dude, is these time development cycles. Where Williams had 18 months, sometimes up to 2 years on one game for certain designers. And the games that are coming out now,
Scott.
I mean, you have you don't have nearly that kind of development cycle. So imagine if these designers weren't handcuffed by a bill of materials for a lot of these things, or had an extra 6 months to work on a game, ironing things out, like in the 90s. And I think a lot of that stuff impacts today's pinball that hits the street. Code. I mean, if the designer had a year and a half, the designer had 6 months to get the game kind of ironed out of what it's generally going to be, and then the coder could start writing code, and the guy had coders could have a year and a half to program code today, which has evolved greatly. I know T2, I was told there's 10,000 lines of code in that, but Star Wars, there was like 110,000 lines of code.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, at what point do we, start making concessions? Well, it's code versus, time development cycle for these games.
Well, and Skip Natty says you could just play a game and enjoy it or not care about what anybody else says. And I think that's where we have to kind of look within ourselves and not be so swayed on the pinball media. I don't know that I consider us pinball media, but I mean, my comments on Willy Wonka were my direct comments. I didn't tell anybody, hey, go out and buy this game. But as somebody that podcasts, I wanted to share exactly what I felt on that game. So does that hinder your ability to make a judgment on yourself? I think ultimately that's on you. I'm not trying to tell you to buy something or not to buy something. I can only share my opinion. But before you buy anything, if ever possible, you have to play the games yourself. And if you can't, then you need to take, I think, multiple reviews with people that line up with your likes and your disappointments, and then make a decision based on that. But
well, and here's the thing: there's been games that we've neither one of us have been thrilled with the IP, and we've been very objective because we know that might not be our thing, but we're not going to crap on something that might be for somebody else or try and derail railroad
Right.
sales on somebody, and then we've played it, and we're deeply surprised by how good it was. And a lot of, let's face it, a lot of the time you guys play these games, or at least I know for me, I'm not playing, downstairs in the basement by myself. I just don't have time for that. It's typically when I have a bunch of friends over and we're all getting together and having a good time. So,
And Dennis from My Collected Gamers, he said, Wonka, it's a fascinating case study on hype spinning out of control. JJP is culpable. It was their narrative, and they didn't control it. Did it hurt sales? Who knows? I think that goes back to what exactly is hype. If I share my opinion on something, and in an overwhelmingly positive way, is that considered hype, or is that considered my opinion, or is it one and the same? I don't really know. I would hate to think that because I shared an opinion that I took somebody out of their normal judgment and it was considered overhyped. That would suck. But you know what? I think I did learn a lot from the experience of being able to go into Jersey Jack Pinball and be able to see these games and speak of them before it was released to the public. Number one, I was not in a position, we weren't in a position where we were awestruck. Oh, this whole situation makes me want to talk about this game and hype it.
That had nothing to do with it.
No, it didn't.
Because
we've seen things before it was announced, and we didn't.
We know
overhype
things now
anything.
that people don't know. That's why I love some of this the speculation that people have, and they're dead wrong, and you don't want to call them out on it.
Well, and that's fine, but I shared my thoughts. I tried to be as vague as I could under an NDA, and I still back up a lot of what I said. Like I want people to play this Wonka game.
And you were so mellow on that game
driving there that day. You were
I did
like,
not want to.
"Eh."
I didn't want to like it
You-
because I didn't like the theme.
You were like,
in all
"Eh,
honesty,
whatever. It's gonna be what it's gonna be."
I'm like, I
We
don't
left
care
there,
about Wonka.
and dude, we barely hit Thorndale, and you're like, "Dude, I'm buying this game," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Wow, dude,
Yeah.
that's like a transition." I mean, I agree, dude. I like the game a lot too. Budgetary, there's only enough room for what I have right now, so.
Dave says that delivery is going to hurt Wonka more than the hyperspin. I don't know that that's true either. I think that if they're still on track, you'll start seeing these
Games this month. Well,
special
and another-
editions in June and first week of July. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I do agree. Like if they drop the ball on getting these pins out to the pinball
community.
it'll be a disappointment. But to somebody that rolls into a game room facility and wants to buy a pin and they see a Willy Wonka, it's not going to make a bit of difference. To get these games on location, they're going to earn. And if the artwork is subpar for these special editions that are coming out, it's not going to make a difference. It's in
No.
between a bunch of pins and people are going to see a screen. They're going to see Willy Wonka. They're going to see the play field. They're going to play the damn game.
Yeah,
So,
but if you're
whatever.
Jersey Jack at this point, dude, I would run a handful of Wonkas, right? Maybe not a handful, but a decent amount. Run back to Pirates of the Caribbean right before you announce your next game because that's supposed to be coming around Expo time, and drive the prices of the used Wonkas up.
Yeah.
Kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean right now. Someone's got an LE for $9,500. Let me know. I know people that'll buy it.
Dave says, barely hit Thorndale. Only 2 people got that. And it was me and Dave, I think, that got that one. And he was talking about proximity to the home base, especially when lit being pretty close.
Thorndale is the road that Jersey Jack facility is literally on. So what I essentially said was we didn't make it out of the very small parking
Right.
lot onto the road before Ken literally was like, "Dude, I'm buying one." So
Bits and Bytes says in regards to Wonka, he said, my only complaint is the main music gets old quick. And a couple things to consider on that. I think with Vikas Deo being new to pinball, he came over from the slot machine side, and he had already wrote music for the slot machine for Willy Wonka, and he comes over to pinball. So I think what you're seeing initially is a lot of slot machine style music. And if you go to Special When Lit Pinball podcast and you listen to our making of Willy Wonka, you hear him admit that.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm looking for guidance. I don't know how this is supposed to sound. And Joe Katz has been helping me, and he's getting help. That's why I think that musically you're going to see this evolve over time
Sure.
as he gets his roots and as people that have done musical scores for pinball will help him. They're not going to leave it as is.
No,
and it's not that it's horrible, but I can see where it's a little bit concerning.
yeah, but you know what though? I mean, here, one of the things I want to say there though is, you know what? I'm glad that somebody else new is jumping in on
You need fresh
on
blood
this,
in pinball.
because
David Thiel was there, right? So he goes over to Deep Root.
yeah.
So Jersey Jack, they're looking for somebody to get into sound engineer and for Wonka, and it's Vikas Deo, and we'll see how that decision pans out to bring him in. But I can tell you this, I mean, just from our interaction with him, he's excited, he's eager to learn. But the thing is, he's just out of his element slightly, where he does not understand how pinball relates to a musical score versus like a slot machine.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's the thing, though. I think that with his passion and his desire to do this, I think that will carry this game a long way in the long haul.
I think it'll be
Period.
that, and I think it'll be help from people that have worked on these games before. Like he's not too proud to ask for help. He wants to figure it out.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and Jersey Jack's not going to let. In my opinion, they're not going to let something like a musical score hold back a pin that could potentially be a blockbuster seller because of somebody that's new. They're going to help him. They're going to bring him along. They're going to educate him so that he's got this under his belt.
Oh yeah, and I mean I think that's part of the problem too. I mean you get some of these. I'm not going to start like naming names, but there's a few people we know that are in pinball that they've done it so long and they think that it's going to be what it's going to be, and they don't have to strive, then they don't have that passion or drive as much, it seems, as that might have when they were younger. And I think that's where fresh blood and competition really comes into play on this. Competition is good because it makes the products better. I mean, that's honestly what I'm hoping out of Deeper is they push everybody to be
Right.
Better at what
Yeah,
they
but
do.
can you really? I mean, with all due respect to Deep Root, can you count on them for anything at this point? And I'm not saying that Deep Root's going to fail. It's just every single thing that they've promised. None of it's come true. We see a little bit from Deep Root being released, and I'm torn because, and a big reason that I wanted to go to TPF was at the time it was because of the Deep Root reveal, the 5 days of Deep Root. Now it had evolved actually after that to going down there because This Week in Pinball they were doing the Twippies. They had asked us to present an award, so that made it worth the trip.
Yeah. And getting together with everybody and hanging out made a world of difference.
Right. So, and just going back on what Dennis at Collector Gamer says, what had solidified and you're right.
Yeah.
What solidified Deep Root for me was the staff that they had brought in. So you look at who they have, and the most important thing for me, I think, as far as an employee hire, was Steve Bowden, because Steve's so engulfed immersed in the pinball community. For him to make a decision and leave his career, and then to put his reputation on the line with everybody that's been a fan of him in pinball and his Fun with Bonus website, it was a big thing for him to do that. With as far as the designers, those guys are looking for work, so it makes sense that they sign on with the company. They're probably under contract, a non-disclosure agreement, just as I'm sure Steve Bowden is with going in there writing rules.
Absolutely.
So it's like, do you get a true essence of what's going on? Because can they really speak about what's happening if they're under contract in a non-disclosure agreement? Robert Mueller he's a businessman. He knows how to take care of situations, and he knows how to use the legal system, I would assume, to not necessarily to his advantage, but to protect himself. Is he going to let somebody go in there and then start talking poorly about the company? I would imagine not.
No.
I'm giving Robert and Deep Root the benefit of the doubt until they prove otherwise. But if I'm looking at their track record, as far as what Dennis or what Robert says, you cannot take anything else that doesn't come out of my mouth as anything else except speculation. Mm-hmm. It's got to come from me. Well, what's come from him hasn't come to fruition. It just hasn't. So then at that point, if we are to trust him only and what he said has not been delivered, do we now second guess and wonder about our judgment about what he's saying? It all comes down to this. They haven't asked for money.
No.
That's their saving grace for me at this point, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And pinball's a little harder than anticipated.
Oh, well, thanks for summing that out, man. I went on this long thing, and I'm like, I'm going to give Bill like 45 minutes as I get caught up. You're like, yes, that's great.
Listen, no. But when he said pinball's easy, well, maybe not, dude. But
no, I mean, and I want to see them succeed. I mean, I've reached out to Robert on several occasions. He's contacted me back. He's never given me any information. I know he's got a nice relationship with Jeff Patterson at This Week in Pinball. I know that he's got other podcasts that he discloses information to. We've been nothing but courteous to try to get in tandem with him as far as like being on a release schedule. Like, we would like to be able to share information.
Yeah.
Right now, he doesn't want to share anything, at least to us, and I respect that. No hard feelings at all, but
see, I do have hard feelings. I'm all pissed off about it.
No, you're not.
No, I'm kidding.
But everything he shared,
no, whatever, dude.
Like none of it's come true.
No, it hasn't. So it makes it hard to believe what's going to happen is going to, whatever. You know what I mean?
It makes it harder to believe. And then you see Deep Root Studios come out, right? So like all these other board games, cell phone apps, card games. It's like, oh my gosh, could you please
finish one
Let's
thing?
focus on one thing instead of branching out. But you know what? A way to diversify, money coming in, I totally understand it. I just really hope before the end of this, if we don't see a Deep Root machine in production
by January, by
the end of this
31st?
year, I don't know that we ever see one. And if we do, I think it's too late.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
Hey man, the world could use some more home pins. No coin door games.
No, they cannot. As we get caught up in chat, let's see. CNK, I would not hold my breath for Deep Root anything. All right, and fair enough. I would say following the investments and the financials, I would be shocked if we didn't see anything.
Yeah. I mean, you can't put out that much money and not have anything to show.
Unless that's spread out towards Deep Root Studios, and then Deep Root Studios, the subsidiaries of that, like try to go back and fund the pinball. Like I could see a delay. I don't know how the investments work, but you've got the Zidware customers that are waiting for their games that they were supposed to receive because they opted out of litigation against one of the programmers there, or one of the designers. So at least they're on the hook for that, I would assume. I think June 1st was like a date where they were supposed to have games in hand.
I think it was June 30th.
June 30th? I don't know. June 1st, June 30th, whatever it takes.
Hey, listen, either way, we're close to figuring out what's going to happen. So if these people start magically getting a check for half of their money, then we'll see what happens.
Chris Printern, he says, I think people don't differentiate between fun discussion of rumors in pinball and acting as if it's gospel. I think the problem is if you kind of form a trust with a media outlet, whether it be a podcast or a website or even somebody that's prominent on Pinside, and you see people talking about things, unless there's a disclaimer about it being fun discussion, I think you do kind of have a trust there that things are going to happen. And I think that goes back to the figureheads of these companies. Like, so Robert Mueller, when he comes on and says a bunch of things that don't happen, but then he says, you know what? I'm surprised that you would listen to speculation from other people when you should only consider what I say as truth. It's contradictory right there, because the truth that he spoke never came to fruition.
That truth shall not set him free.
Right. So why should we not like entertain speculation against the truths that he had put out there? I mean, so that's kind of where I'm at with that. I don't understand how that works. And he follows that. He's like, I'm just praying one day I could buy a Big Lebowski game for a normal price. That Nightmare Before Christmas will be the ultimate. Anyone that can snag those license or games gets my money day one. But why,
Chris? It's not getting the game. It's getting the game, and hopefully it stays running. I think, in all honesty,
that's the other thing.
I love the game too, though. I'm not even talking crap.
Alien.
The game's awesome.
Love to get some Alien. Well, that's a struggle.
When you say I'd love to get some Alien, it sounds like I'd love some herpes. You know, it just sounds like some bad stuff there.
I had no idea that's where it was going.
No, but honestly, yeah, Big Lebowski, I love that game too. But you know, honestly, the longevity of it working has definitely been in question for a while.
You know what I would love to get, Bill? I would love to get another pinball company that comes up, knows how to do it, doesn't try to necessarily reinvent the wheel, that try to maybe follows basic manufacturing until it makes sense that they don't. Somebody that can launch a product after it's on the line, somebody that takes money and then is able to fulfill an order, whether it be direct or through distributors, and somebody that's able to, again, the follow-up to all this is reliable service on the pins that are out there. You know what I mean? Is that Suncoast Pinball?
I'm going to double up on this one. I would love to see that same company, and then when you have an issue with a playfield or a cabinet, they say, no problem, we take care of you.
Yeah.
Not, it's up to our discretion. That's another one that kind of burns me a little bit.
Right. So Suncoast and Haggis, right? So those are the two up-and-comers that potentially have games that are happening. I think what surprised me the most, you hear about all these up-and-coming manufacturers. I'll include Deep Root. I'll include Suncoast. I'll include Great Lakes Pinball. I'll include Haggis. When Suncoast Pinball had broke on the scene, I
low hope.
Gave them completely low hope. I'm looking at these pictures, and again, pictures can speak 1,000 words, and they can sway a belief, and they can, definitely make you feel one way or the other. But it looks like potentially their release schedule of June is within reach, and I have to sit back and be like, I did not expect that to happen. I just didn't.
You know what? Yeah, I have a lot of respect for that. I mean, especially, dude, if there's one in a home before July 1st, listen, that's one company that I was pleasantly surprised with. So I'm curious to see how the code has evolved on it. But other than that, I mean, dude, it's good stuff. So
I think the smart thing, we talked about, like, even with Oktoberfest, and you brought this up, it'd be interesting. What if Oktoberfest was totally reskinned, right? Just
I did bring this
for
up.
the sake of conversation. And you said, what if it was reskinned and Dirty Donnie did a Cosmic Carnival art package on Oktoberfest? And then and Oktoberfest was no longer Oktoberfest. It was Cosmic Carnival with the Oktoberfest layout. When you said that,
I didn't think we were ever going to talk about this publicly, but okay.
Oh,
let's go there.
All
then.
right,
No,
well,
we
I'm just,
can.
no,
We
just
can.
for the sake of
Cats on the
conversation.
bag.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
It blew my mind because I think just the hybrid of that artwork in this layout could potentially have just
Smash this game.
blown it up.
Yeah, with
Blown
these
it up.
with the wire forms, the bumper cars, and get rid of the dude with the hat and throw some creepy clowns on there or something. Man, this game could have really been something interesting. Not that it isn't now. It just would have been a whole different take on something.
Chris the Pintern, he says, fair point, Ken. What do you say? But to your point, if a media source is wrong, then they lose their credibility accordingly. But if we're going to speculate on the release date of Jaws, Toy Story, I feel like it's just shooting the shit, Well, I mean, I get it. But it's like, when is shooting the shit and credible, I don't want to say journalism, but credible information, like when's the dividing point on that? I mean,
So when you're wrong on something, how is it that you can still be a Twippy winner?
oh,
Hey, listen.
All right.
This is not like breaking NBC news.
no,
and
it's
kids
not.
Missing.
So Canadians missed on a lot of
couple.
what he's said recently.
He's been right on a few too, though.
Right.
So I mean, whatever.
So it is. If you enjoyed the discussion, I mean, everybody I think should be open to discussion. Discussion's fun. If you're looking for something that might be a little bit more closer to what's actually happening, that's another thing. And I think there's give and take with all the podcasts with that. We'll leave it at that. Dennis from Eclectic Gamers says, and if you have not checked out the Eclectic Gamers podcast with Dennis and Tony, go subscribe to that podcast now, because they don't only talk pinball for the first half, but they talk a little gaming on the second half, and that's why I like the podcast. And he says, the question to me is whether the pinball hobby is still willing to tolerate the whole boutique approach. Cosmic Carnival, great art, symmetrical layout, simple code. Costs more than a Stern Pro. Basically what Spooky did. Are people still cool with that? Is that value? Is that a value proposition? And what do you get for the price? Now and in control. I get that too. Like I think I'm not as starstruck with the boutique pinball company coming up with something new. I think the boutique pinball companies have to come out and they got to fire with something that's going to be a direct impact, and not like these. I don't want to say half-assed approaches, because it takes a lot of time and effort to put forth
something more than we
to
can do.
release a pinball machine for sure. But it's like it can be absolutely considered lackluster if not executed properly in comparison to the major pinball companies. So when does the boutique pinball company just fade away because it's not worth the effort anymore?
But I would love to see a boutique company come out with kick-ass IPs and make 50 pins, like 50 Beverly Hills Cops with the banana in the tailpipe plunger, and ask for $18,000 a game, or something ridiculous. It's going to be the big heavy hitters that come out and buy it, but whatever. Maybe not make 500 pins, but limit it to something crazy, like 50 pins, and each one's numbered. Yeah, but, whatever.
I think like Spooky Pinball, like they broke into the boutique market, and you look at their efforts. They did. And I'm just really curious to see, after Alice Cooper Nightmare Castle, when they finish those builds, you've got Scott Denisi, who had TNA, which was a huge hit for Spooky Pinball. He's got a second effort that's going to be released. I know you've got time on that game, right? Or no?
Yes.
Okay. The Whitewoods, close to being final. And we don't know the theme. We can't talk about the theme.
Wasn't privy to that.
But I would say this. There's got to be pressure for Scott Denisi for his second effort. There's got to be pressure for Eric Minier, the creator of Pirates of the Caribbean, the designer, for his second effort.
Oh, yeah.
There's got to be pressure for Keith Elwin, his second effort as a designer. And when you speculate all three of those, you've got potentially Keith Elwin, where the speculation has been on Jurassic World as his second effort. You've got Eric Minier, who we speculated, if the theme launches are in line with what Jersey Jack's going to do. We kind of anticipate him being on
GNR.
Guns N' Roses, right? And then Scott, I mean, we know it's not Haunted House Party. We kind of played into that, and
Well, no, we
with
said
the
it was
fun
Pitch
release.
Perfect.
Pitch Perfect didn't rhyme with that, or did it?
And it's a wide body. That's why they call it Fat Amy.
But the three young bloods in pinball are all coming forth with their second efforts. So, like, does somebody get voted off the island? Are there three guys that come out and only two survive? Or do all three of these guys come out, swinging? I don't know.
Yeah.
As we check chat here, there's some inner chat going, and that's great. That's what we want to do here. Amoto Arcade says the growth of Spooky's Warehouse is proof that they have enough money in their cult following. They'll always have loyal customers because of the format. And it's interesting that you said that, Amoto, because I absolutely believe that with their business model of doing 500 pin runs,
We'll bite off what you can chew.
with their quirkiness, with what they have with pinball themes, and with their following, I don't think they're in any risk of not selling 500 to 550 pins per release. They've publicly said that they're not trying to be a Stern Pinball or a Jersey Jack, but I think at some point I would expect some type of expansion out of Spooky Pinball over the next 5 or 7 years, whether that means going from 500 to 650 games.
But even if they left it alone, Ken, right where it's at now, though, I mean, they're in that sweet spot where they're making money, you'd like to think, right?
Well, obviously they're making money, but the question is this. As the owners of the company, if they're content with their lifestyle based on the money they're making, then there's no problems.
Yeah.
But as you see, like in America and in the typical home, you always tend to try to live above your lifestyle, so to speak. So if that lifestyle reach changes and they aspire to make more money to adhere to that lifestyle, I can see where the company has minor expansion to major expansion. But as of right now, I mean, I don't want to use the term simple folk because that's not the case for somebody that's creative enough to come up with a pinball company and do what they've done.
I was going to say, that sounds dick.
No, but they're absolutely, but
they've done it. They've grown
they're
it.
content with what they're doing.
Exactly. I agree. And, I have to jump in here and say, it's like drag racers, professional drag racers. They just shouldn't get, jump into a 6,000 horsepower car and say, let's see if we can not hit shit. So, they started off drag racing, small 300, 500 horse, 800 horse, any good, especially the old guys, man, they built their way, they learned. They just get thrown into it. So how they're doing it, I definitely have a lot of respect for.
Yeah, no, I agree. And again, they've gone on record and say, listen, this is what we want to do. We're not trying to expand to the point to be a Stern Pinball.
Yeah.
Are they considered a threat to Stern directly? Probably not, because the amount of pins that they're putting out doesn't directly impact their market share. But I can see Stern being concerned about the loyalty and the customer base where they're on their radar as far as, as a business, you don't want somebody to come in and take over some of that market segment. But I think what they're doing, and again, Charlie's like, we like quirky stuff. We like kind of that stuff that appeals to a small niche market, and they're hitting it out of the park as it pertains to that.
Well, here, last thing I'm going to say on that. If Stern's making 20,000 games a year and Charlie's doing 500 a year, right?
Right.
That's still a tenth of a tenth? 500 out of 1,000 or 20,000?
500 out of 1,000 is half.
100, whatever. Either way, sorry, it's late. Either way, you're still taking money out of their pocket. Doesn't matter. But on that note, gents, this gentleman needs to be exiting the premises.
Yeah, you know what? Let's wrap up this stream in general. We started at 7, we went to 10. So we appreciate everybody that took part in the after hours. As we'll keep chat open here for a few more minutes. I know Bill's got to get home. He's got an early day tomorrow in his line of work.
Long week too.
Absolutely. I've got a semi-early day tomorrow. So a couple quick thank yous before we shut the stream down. I wanted to thank Zach and Nicole Many at Flip N Out Pinball again for giving us the opportunity to not only stream these new games, but to open up a dialogue with those that are not only interested in pinball, but are interested in general pinball discussion. Yeah. And I think tonight, if you look at the chat and you see who's here and you see who's conversing back and forth, it's absolutely interesting dialogue. We're not the best pinball players. We're not going to blow these games up. but we want to demo these games.
We're going to show you what not to do on these games for
Right.
the most part, but it's going to be a good time.
We want you to get these games in your homes and discover them for yourself. So, you got anything else before we shut this down? I want to thank Scott from Pin Stadium for illuminating
More than just
Oktoberfest.
pinball.
Scott's always been just unbelievable
guy.
support for his product. And please, if you're considering illuminating your pinball machine, consider Scott at Pin Stadium. Again, I'm Ken Cromwell. This is Bill Webb. We are from the Special When Lit Pinball Podcast. And if you're just a Twitch viewer, which isn't a bad thing, because who's not, and you've never listened to a pinball podcast before, I do us a favor.
Give us a listen.
Give us a listen, because if you enjoy what you're hearing as far as banter here in chat on this stream, there's going to be more of that during our podcast. And you can look us up on Facebook at Special When Lit Pinball Podcast and link from there. You can kind of listen to our episodes. We recorded an episode tonight.
Yep.
And that was fun. That was episode number 54. We started last July, so we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary. And I want to take another moment for thanking the local guys that I have supported, not only us, but like everybody that's pinball guys in chat. I want to thank those guys that came in and supported, or at least got into chat.
Yeah, thank
Amoto,
you, everybody.
it's awesome having you in chat. Like, thank you so much. We missed Lloyd tonight. It was great having Loser Kid Pinball Podcast. Dennis from Eclectic Gamers Podcast. Thanks for jumping in here. Dave Falgren, local guy who strives to let the capital be known. We appreciate that
Absolutely.
you're in here.
Gotta love Dave.
Chris the Pin Turn. It's always good to see you coming in here. And we're missing a bunch of people, but listen.
Everyone that was here, thank you very much.
Know
man.
that we knew that you were here, and you can always reach out to us. If you're looking to buy any of the new games, we recommend please consider Flip N Out Pinball. You can call Zach, Menny, or Nicole, who's his partner in crime, and not only in pinball, but in marriage, at 847-778-4876. You can also email at Zach, Z-A-C-H. That's Zach at flip, the letter N, out, pinball.com. And just know that every Monday we are absolutely going to be here, and we're not only going to play these games, but we're going to open up the podcast mics for a little live discussion. So we do appreciate that. So for Bill Webb, I am Ken Cromwell.
Everybody have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
And don't forget to take some time out of your day and play some pinball. So long, everybody.
We never turn the lights off on Penn Stadium.
Hello. Hold on. Make sure we're not. Hello. Oh, we're still here. Hey, what's going on, guys? We did not turn the lights off on Penn Stadium. We absolutely have to do that.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Next time, but it won't be Oktoberfest.
And it's funny because the stream will not start in a few because we have to hit the closing. Thanks for joining us. Adios, amigos. Hey, that's a bloopers tape. Sorry about that, guys. I'm pretty shocked and awe that the mics are still live. I have no idea. Or is this the Nate Shivers last Coast to Coast episode? Where
You're gonna do people like
this
that?
is yeah.
Huh?
This is how it works. It's like, hey, yeah, it was 3 streams that we did, but we're not gonna talk about that. I need the artwork assets so I can go ahead and draw the vector graphic, and we're gonna shock and awe pinball as it comes out. Thanks, guys. Yeah, Zach's like, hey, mics are live. Woo!
All right, thanks.
Are they really? We'll see. Let's see if we can end those mics. How do the mics end? Or do they?